Hello, good people of the internet, and welcome to the Famiriety Show, your bi-weekly podcast for reviews, games, and everything else under the video game sun, where tonight it is all about Pragmata. I'm your host, Ryan Tierney, and with me I've got the rest of the Famicast, kicking it off with our newest member making his third ever appearance, the self-proclaimed Twilight Princess, Enrico.
Hey, hey.
How you doing, dude?
I'm doing 01101000001011101.
Nice.
We
Did you
also have
actually
Capcoms.
look up what that is in binary,
Yeah,
or did you just
absolutely.
say something?
It's hello everyone. It's missing a couple of zeros, but it was hello everyone.
That's
It
fantastic.
sounds
That's
a little
commitment.
much.
It is.
I don't know if you can get that many zeros out in that span of time.
Do not worry. Do not worry. Do not worry.
We also have Capcom's #1 fan and our beautiful Swedish baby boy Dennis. How you doing tonight, dude?
Am I really Capcom's #1 fan? I don't know about
I mean, so far this year, have you seen your fantasy critic?
that. Yeah, yes.
Yes. All right.
Yes.
Yes.
And finally, we have a man who once again fought tooth and nail to finish the game a mere 40 minutes before we went live. The man who has yet to be defeated by a review deadline, Mr. Kirtley.
Just barely. And this one's a doozy.
This one's a doozy. Well, if you're new to the channel, you can catch us live every Wednesday between 10 and 10:30. We are starting on time tonight. We did not do that last week, so apologies for anybody who was expecting it. And if you can't catch us live because you're too busy, I don't have a quippy line for this one. You can catch the VOD uploaded to YouTube on Thursdays, usually early Thursday morning, whenever and Dennis pushes the thumbnail and Curly decides to post it. We don't have a definite time for that. And if you're still too busy for all that, because man, I didn't have time to write anything for this one, you can catch the podcast live on podcast services such as Amazon, Google, and Spotify. But enough about the stuff you don't care about. Let's get down to business. Gentlemen, we played Pragmata over the last 2 weeks. We've all beaten it. We're all here. Let's do surface level impressions. Enrico, you were the first to
no spoilers in the
this
beginning.
game, first to beat this game. How do you feel about Capcom's latest release, Pragmata?
I'm lacking Capcom's recent output. Let's say a lot between this and Requiem. Without spoilers, without spoiling what I'm gonna say next, I really liked it. I feel it's very fresh kind of mechanic, a fresh loop, very good looking. Yeah, I appreciate it a lot. I think it didn't sell itself too well in trailers and such, but once I got my hands on it, I think it explained itself really quickly and really well. It's very easily in my go-to list for now.
Okay, nice. Mr. Curley, let's go to you next.
Hi,
the man
everybody.
who just finished the game.
I just finished it like within the last hour. And man, this game I agree with Enrico quite a bit. I really liked it. I have a good bit of critiques, a good bit of things that I would love to see if this turned into a series, but my biggest takeaway is that this does feel very fresh to me, especially as like a new IP. And what they do with the gameplay is really awesome. And we'll talk more spoilers about the characters, but I even think some things that I initially didn't like ended up growing on me quite a bit. I feel like this game is quite a grower, in my opinion. I think the more that you play it and the more that you get to spend with it, the better it actually gets. And like I'm honestly like most of the time when I'm finished with like a single player narrative game, I'm not really itching to go back, but I'm legitimately kind of like wishing that I had time to go back and play this game some more, just to experience the previous levels even. with like the full layout, and we'll talk about spoilers and all that. But yeah, I come off pretty high on this. If I was to score it, I would probably give it an 8.5. 8.5 is probably what I would give it,
Nice.
somewhere around there.
Nice.
Yeah, high end of the 8s. It's good. It's great even.
Enrico, did you want to give a score?
In my personal list, because this year, I'm starting to actually write down the games I played during the year and placing them in a score. I give it a 9. I give it a 9+, so it's like something more than 9, a little bit more than.
Wow.
9.
Wow, it's high. Two
Yeah.
pretty high scores. Dennis, you noticeably did not finish this game in a mere 2 days like you did Resident Evil Requiem. So I'm very curious. Give me your impressions. How do you feel about this one?
I liked it. I thought it was good. I think the gameplay is really great and all that. I have some issues with the story. But yeah, I don't think it is on the level of Requiem. But I still really like the game, and it quite reminded me a lot of like the PS3 era of single player games in a good way. Yeah, I think like I really like the gameplay of the game. It is like I've seen multiple people like say this, like you think the hacking matrix is gonna get old real quick, and it just doesn't. Like it just keeps being like satisfying, and they add elements to it which make it fun. And even when they don't add new elements, it just feels good to do.
Yeah, early on,
I was really surprised by that.
Early on in my impressions, me and Ryan were talking about it, and I was like, man, I kind of wish they were doing a little more interesting things with the hacking. And I feel like as you progress through the game, they gave me exactly that. Like by the end, I was like doing exactly what I kind of envisioned and wanted out of it. And I thought the pacing and growth of the mechanics was really satisfying.
Yeah, I think I would give it a 8.5.
Okay, so we got a 2 8.5s and you gave it a 9 or a 9.5?
9 plus.
9
9
plus.
9 plus.
9 plus.
Okay, all right.
That's got a
wow.
scale going on.
Yeah, and
Capcom-
Requiem is 8.5 in this list. So I mean, it's slightly higher.
Wow.
than
Okay.
Requiem.
So over Requiem. Gotcha. Okay. So I guess that leaves me. I hate to be the black sheep of the cast, but I think this game is good, not great. I think the game is great in aspects, but kind of lackluster in a lot of others. I really enjoyed my time with it. I think I'm really glad that it's only a 10 to 13 hour game. I think the mechanics are super solid. I think the hacking mechanic with the third person shooter aspect is awesome. I think that level of innovation was not something I was expecting, and I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. I don't think it innovates or like what you were talking about, Curly, when we were talking about it earlier. I don't feel like I ever got to that point where I was like, this is exactly what I wanted from this, the way it escalates or they build upon that mechanic as the game goes on. And we'll delve more into that as we talk a little more like spoiler heavy or deeper into it. But I think the gameplay is great. I think this game lacks style, like in bounds. I think this game feels very flat. The narrative writing feels very flat. The character direction feels very flat outside of Diana. Hugh is a
girl.
Hugh's not a blank slate, but man, he is just uninteresting, dude. Like I just
we have to have a whole conversation about Hugh during spoilers, because like, man, I both agree and disagree. I'm so conflicted on Hugh. Like it's crazy.
I agree with that.
Without getting into spoilers, it's hard. But yeah.
Yeah, I like I guess do you want to break into a more deeper discussion now? Just overall thoughts. I think I'm landing at a 7. It's a good game. It's not a great game for me. Yeah, let's dig a little deeper.
Yeah, we don't have to go full spoilers, but we can maybe talk a little bit more in depth. That's our just top level.
We'll go beat for beat after we're done with this part.
Yeah, we'll full on spoil, but like let's just jump in on the Hugh character. Like 50% of this game, basically, comes in almost like Ryan said, kind of like a wet blanket of a character. And like it's really hard to get a read on him at first because he comes in and he's a little kind of your typical male protagonist, kind of gruff, kind of like, I don't want kids kind of like vibe. And then immediately meets this like adorable, fascinating robot. And it just happens so fast where he's like hanging out with her and he's like, yo, that was pretty sick. Like along with her, like so fast. But like the later you get into the game and like get to spend more time with their dynamic, there's something that like I kind of thought was also fresh about that because it wasn't just a typical gruff male character that's uninterested in stuff. It was kind of nice to have a character that's kind of like the kid character is excited about some birds. It's like, yeah, those birds are fucking cool. And I'm like, yeah, those birds are cool, bro. Like it was kind of nice to get that kind of feel from the game. It's just the way that they introduced him and the way that he kind of turns on a dime is so weird. And like it does come off as a little bit just odd sometimes. But like honestly, I've like by the end of the game, again, no spoilers, I was completely sold on their relationship, and I was completely sold on both characters. Like I want to see these characters in more games. I love them. I love them as a pairing. And I don't disagree with you, Ryan, but I am conflicted. Like I just like I don't know where I stand on this guy because like Diana is 10 out of 10, dude. I love her character so fucking much in this game, and she's a really good like childlike character written for a video game because a lot of time that's hit or miss. But like I think they knocked it out of the park with her.
I think I agree with you. Like the where this game actually works for me narratively is their dynamic, but so much of it feels unearned because AQ is a wet blanket, and all he's doing at the beginning of the game is talking about how much he doesn't like kids. Yeah, and like it just turns on nothing. Like it's just a drop of a dime, and he's like he's sold. Like I don't know. There are great character moments between the two, but his direction and line delivery just don't sell it for me. I don't need him to be like a gruff this game draws comparisons to Last of Us and God of War and any father figure, child figure relationship type game. Yeah, I get. But and I don't need that. I don't need the Joel or the Kratos type behavior from him, but I needed some level of personality, some level of like getting to know this character so I actually care about him outside of the dynamic with him and Diana.
Well, I felt there were some things like that. But I do agree. Like one of my biggest, like the most jarring moments in the beginning is like that transition to liking Diana, where it's like he turns on a dime, but there are like, or I think it's mostly down to the fact that like when you're in the shelter and interacting with her, it's like always like a state of good, and you can reach the shelter before the point in the linear story where they really start to gel, So that becomes really jarring.
Yeah, definitely.
I replayed the beginning, and there's a way to kind of frame everything in a way that makes sense for me. But maybe I'm seeing a narrative structure where there is none. But I think the idea is that at the beginning you see Hugh as the world sees you, and then when you technically almost die, you start seeing Hugh as Hugh sees himself. And that's why the character of Diana is written in a more interesting way, in a way. Because if you, I mean, we're gonna go to the plot in a little bit, but at the beginning, you're just one of 4 characters that are wearing the same shit, basically sounding and looking the same. And I don't think that's. I mean, I
just
think
4
that's
dudes
that's
coming to the
choice.
moon.
Yeah, precisely. Because if I mean, it's not a spoiler, but I've read through some of the notes in my replay of it because you need to replay it in difficulty, like in high difficulty. Lunatic, a great name for it.
Yeah, that was
Awesome.
cool.
Difficulty.
Fantastic.
Lunatic.
And one of the notes at the end says something like, yeah, I studied all my life for this job, and then I came here, and my job was to supervise an AI doing my job. And that is, it's kind of at the center for me of how you need, how you should probably interpret the whole why Hugh is like a wet blanket kind of character issue, because humans are wet blankets in that kind of future. Like, we're useless. We're just cold there when AI is not working, basically. We're the IT of AI, in a way. But yeah, we can move forward.
It's just, it's one of those things where it's like The Last of Us is the original dad slop, right? And they just did that moment so well, of like the Joel turning on Ellie, like after she makes her first kill kind of moment in the water with the drowning. Like, not every game can do that. Not every game can be that. But like, there's so much like that goes into that moment that makes me love that game so much. And it's just like, I kind of, because Hugh starts off when he first meets Diana, she's like, my name is blah blah blah, and he's like, oh, shut the fuck up, like, let's go, blah blah blah. And then like 10 minutes later, he's just vibing with her, and there was never like an arc to that. That's like what this game is missing. It's missing that arc. Again, like, I don't need it to be God of War or have that Last of Us moment, but I needed something to like bring us together. Otherwise, like, I kind of wish that they painted him like, I definitely see what you mean, where it's like that's how Earth would see Hugh, but like, I kind of wish that his character in the beginning did play more playfully, like where he was more like excited about going to the moon or excited about the technology and not so dismissive of it.
No, but it's just a job. That's the whole thing. Like, it's just a job. It's like you going to your job. Are you excited to go to your job every single day?
No, absolutely not.
and you reboot him, correct use of the word reboot, when he almost dies. Like, that's the sort of a wake up call.
You're by the way, he's not spoiling any. That happens at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, if someone is
like,
following a spoiler cast, I think they're ready to.
Yeah, but we're not in the spoiler section yet.
Yeah. I don't think my issue like is the way, like, solely with the way that Hugh turns on a dime, because I totally get what you're talking about, Enrico, but like, he doesn't have like an actual personality outside of the dynamic with Diana. Like, everything else that happens to him, or like, I don't know, he kind of goes from like stoic to happy about everything on a dime. And I like the reboot idea that you're talking about there. I totally get that. That's more of a show don't tell thing for me. And a lot of his personality and direction, or even his any kind of character development or like things behind Hugh is all told to us. Nothing is shown to us for Hugh. Everything is told to us.
Yeah. And then one thing that I do like about why it feels fresh to me, like his demeanor doesn't really make sense, and I don't buy it necessarily all the time. But one thing that I love about it is this game is about like their relationship and him sort of being a surrogate like parent to this kid, and like a lot of like personal experience being a parent. A lot of the joy in my life is brought on from seeing basically the magic happens in front of the kid's eyes, and like that happens in this game a lot with their dynamic. And I think that that's like a really cool take to bring into a video game like this. It's just, again, it's just getting to that point where it's almost like, I don't know, I wanted like a dramatic backstory where his wife died being pregnant or something, and he always wanted a kid, but then like resented it. You know what I mean? Like, I needed just this.
But there are hints to it. There are hints to it at the end, because it says like, someone was there for me. But he doesn't ever speak about it. So there are hints of a good story. The thing is, I think this is not Hugh's story. It's Diana's story.
I never picked up on that, but that is interesting.
In many of the like conversations that, I don't know if most of these show up when you start exploring old areas or not, but he talks a lot about how he was an orphan.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I do remember
I
that.
actually generally, like, I don't really feel like too much or whatever for that. But I really enjoyed like how he talked about that, and like how he talked about how he was like really appreciative of his adoptive parents, and like yeah, it was all of that was just like extremely wholesome in my opinion. And I really loved hearing him talk about that.
If we keep drawing the comparison, of course, I mean, this I don't think pretends even to be on the level of the recent, God of War 2018 or The Last of Us or whatever. But the main issue there is in drawing a comparison between these kind of three games in a way, is that in God of War we have access to Kratos' past because we played those games. In The Last of Us we have access to Joel's past because we played that part. We don't have access to Hugh's past here, so there's no coming out moment in a way from you to Diana to say, yes, I was this and this and this and this, and this is how the world goes. I kind of appreciated that choice in a way. It makes Hugh lose a lot of depth, absolutely, but it makes those few moments in which he says something much more powerful to me. Because if I meet, I mean, let's pretend we meet a young girl AI on the moon, I don't think I'm gonna open up that easily just because we're in a dangerous situation or just because I'm feeling a parental sort of connection to her. But probably a trigger that doesn't happen in The Last of Us, I mean, not in the correct way, for example, it would trigger something like, yeah, I need to protect her from everything that I know this world has to offer in terms of very bad shit, including me, probably, in a way. But yeah, maybe we can just talk about it later with spoilers, actual spoilers.
Do we want to jump? Let's pivot to the mechanics, the gunplay, the hacking. Curly, kick us off there. Tell me about your builds. Tell me about what you liked, what you disliked.
Man, I'm really bad at this game, y'all. Let's just be real. I didn't really experiment that much with different loadouts and things. And one of the things that kind of like I would knock against the combat, because I love the combat. I love the simultaneous moving, dodging while you're hacking. All that is amazing. Everything around the mechanics of like upgrading and it's just the game is like choice paralysis for me, where it's like you have to go into a zone and you have to choose a thing, but not this thing and this thing and that. So where like eventually I was just like, I like this pulse gun a lot. I like this shotgun. And that's what I'm rolling with, babies. Because like it just started to become a little bit like noisy for me. But I definitely appreciate that there's a lot of variety to be had there. It's just I kind of fell into that flow and really enjoyed it, because like my favorite part about this game is really just getting the like this isn't really spoilers, it's pretty early on you can unlock, but there's a perfect dodge in the game that like slows down time and stuff. I love getting those. I love playing it in that style where it was more like I was more focused on dodging and hacking than like getting crazy guns and gunplay and stuff. Like one thing I will say is like early on there's not a lot of hacking stuff to do variety wise, but like the further on you go in the game you get different I don't know what you call them, mods or whatever, you get these like
hacking
chips
nodes.
hacking nodes, thank you. You get those guys that like your hacking grid now, if you pass through this, does a special effect, but like you don't want to just burn through those on the small fodder enemies. You want to use those on like bigger enemies or enemies that are grouped together. And that's where the like combat started to like really sing for me, is when I started like playing with those rather than changing the guns. And like, dude, I love so much of like getting a perfect dodge, slowing down time, getting the hack, doing the thing. It's now got these three guys, and then you get a certain thing that might give you like a finisher move. It's like, dude, it just like starts building like that. And by the end of the game, it also introduces more complex hacking grids and also like different effects and things like that. And I'm just like, man, this is awesome. It's really fun. It's really unique. There's not really another game that I can think of that plays like it, except for like this is a stupid comparison, but like there's a Animal Crossing minigame on the Wii U for Nintendo Land. where you control 2 different characters
yeah.
with each analog stick. So you kind of have to like, it's almost like playing piano in a way where you're doing literally 2 different things with each of your limbs here, and it's like it's really kind of cool. And it's not as advanced or crazy as like piano, but you really do have to like kind of split your brain and do 2 things at the same time. And man, I think it was really effective.
And we all agree that the shotgun is the best weapon.
Shotgun's the best weapon.
I wish it would reload faster though.
Shotgun is so good, dude.
Yes.
You get
Don't
the
agree.
mod that gives you like an extra 10% damage boost
Yeah.
if you are like up close. I was like, this is me all day.
It's the fucking Shockwave and the fucking Requiem this year are the weapon, like Godey's weapons of the year.
It was like any. Also, can we all agree that the fucking charging beam gun, or like not the plasma thing, but the one where you charge like one shot, worst
Yeah,
gun
I
in
liked
the
it
game.
a lot.
No,
I
fucking
used
sucks.
it so much.
It's
That's
like
what I mean. Like,
literally like the only point where you get like actual use out of the fact that it can pierce multiple enemies are in the challenge levels where enemies are
I didn't
lined
even know
up
it
in
could
a
do that.
row.
that's kind of sick. That was like where I started to begin to have that decision paralysis thing where I'm like, well, I feel like I need to take this charge shot because it gave it to me before this boss and whatever, and then I would use it and I would get owned. And I'm like, man, fuck this. Give me my shotgun back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Curly. I didn't really feel the need to like you're talking about. You liked the hacking nodes outside of a couple of like the multi hack and I think the health drain hacks. I didn't really feel the need to experiment with them. The game doesn't, and this might be something that changes with hard mode. Enrico, you could probably speak to that a little better than I can, but I didn't feel the need to experiment with the different hacking nodes or the different guns. I found the shockwave gun and the homing missile, and I didn't really switch off of it much. I didn't use the tactical stuff like the stasis net or the sticky bombs very much. Like, occasionally, I would use the decoy gun, which I thought was really cool.
I would use them when I would find them, but then I would be like, nah, I'm good.
I don't like the game didn't present like a ton of challenge, so I didn't really feel the need to move off of those particular weapons or nodes or experiment much. I mean, I died a handful of times, but like everything's pretty straightforward. I wish the hacking matrices were a little more complex as the game went along. I felt like I got the hang of it, and it just kind of felt like I was spamming like everything in the grid. I did get like there's a little bit of OCD with the grid where it's like, man, I kind of want to see what happens if I fill out every single
Get
square.
the whole thing.
Like, yeah.
I actually never got that.
I do think
unfortunately it does nothing.
I do think they
Which
get
is
like
sad.
the different enemy varieties, and especially in the bosses, the hacking grids do get like more experimental. But I don't disagree. I do wish there was more level to that. But again, like balancing that with the other thing, I could see why you would maybe opt to like keep it a little more simple. That way the gameplay is at least varied. Like if you're not really into hacking, the gunplay is still really fun in this game.
Did you guys
it's great.
Did you guys rely a lot on the fact that the hacking matrix remembers your position in the matrix? Or did you all try to like get it in one go? Because I found
one go.
I always try to get it in one go, and like I kept being reminded by the fact that I don't have to. I can just like release and
and they
dodge.
knew that because there's a mod that doesn't cancel your position if you get hit, right? So
Yeah.
they knew that. They
But
knew
I
some
would-
players would probably try that.
I would always like, or like I would at so many points get hit right before I hit the green one.
Yeah.
Because I just did not ever want to leave the matrix when I was in the middle of it.
A part of me agrees. Go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
A part of me agrees with the want for some more complexity from it, but then I remember. I mean, I need to underline the fact that this, at least in its 2020 conception, was meant to be like a junior project. One of those things that just bring junior developers within the developer studio to a more senior level and such. So through that lens, they did amazing. Through a regular big Capcom project, I would expect a more complexity. But I also got to say, as in most Capcom games, especially Resident Evil, the high difficulty, the lunatic difficulty, you have to use everything in your arsenal, and even the easiest matrix becomes really difficult to
awesome.
act against in a way, because they hit
That-
like trucks, like 3 shots and you're done, even with the
That's
basic
exciting.
enemy. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, definitely to your point, Dennis, with the way it like kind of saves your spot. That both helped me and hurt me so many times, because I would like lock back onto an enemy and try to start where I thought it would start, but I forgot that it would be on the other thing. So then I'd be like confused. I'm like, where the fuck am I? But also oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I was gonna bring up, Ryan, you brought up the length of the game. I super appreciate that it's like
Yeah.
exactly how long it is, because like it moves at such a good pace, I think, like because the game breaks up into sectors, basically levels. It's very linear, and each little sector has its own like gimmick or kind of puzzle style. And as soon as like you start to be like, all right, I get it, let's move on, you get it and move on to the next one. And like some of those sectors I think are definitely better than others, but like there's a couple of them where I'm like, man, I could have actually done a little more of this one, or a little more of that
or
one,
a little
but
less
like,
of some.
yeah, true.
Like Luna Mines, we could have.
No,
that
dude,
one
that's
up.
my favorite one.
No.
I love that one.
I really
man.
liked how like for most of the game you are in these facilities where you have normalized gravity, and then all of a sudden you get to Luna Mines and you're like, oh, low gravity. I was like,
so cool.
I'm on the fucking moon. How did I not think of this before now?
That's why it's my favorite part. I love when they fucked with the gravity there. It's so good.
Also, first use of the word moonquake that I've ever
Oh yeah,
heard.
moonquake.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense because the moon doesn't have tectonic plates.
But it's the future, Dennis.
Well, does it? I don't know.
No, it doesn't. We know it doesn't have tectonic plates. We know the Earth is
have we ever been on the moon?
I'm pretty sure the Earth is the only planet in our solar system that has tectonic plates.
That you know of. I mean, come on.
But like when I heard him talking about
on Jupiter, Dennis.
Yeah, but we can tell anyway.
If a moonquake happens and no one is there to experience it,
yeah,
does it still exist?
I
was expecting
with that, like considering we know that the moon doesn't have tectonic plates, I was expecting they would explain that at some point, why there are quakes on the moon, and they just
calling NASA,
don't.
Dennis. I'm calling NASA. Give me a second.
The tiny phone.
One thing we didn't touch on in terms of mechanics before we jump to the story summary is I found exploration extremely nice, especially returning to levels with new. There's not a bunch. It's not a Metroidvania in itself, but you have maybe one more dash, air dash, whatever. You have the ability to destroy some filaments and whatever. But yeah, I mean, exploration wise, it was really, really good for me as well. Like just to, I know my main objective is there, but there is something that way, and I want to go that way.
Yeah, the game does that Uncharted style collection way better than Uncharted. Like it actually like incentivizes exploring those little areas that like it's like I'll bet you something's hiding there, and then sure enough something is. The platforming is actually kind of fun in this game. Like the way that Hugh jumps and moves, like he's way more nimble, and he both great, nimble and also extremely clunky in like a satisfying way, because he's like this hunking spacesuit. But like with the thrusters and the way you kind of hover around and stuff, man, it's really cool. It's fun.
I did like I think I mentioned at like one of our shows earlier before release, that it's like, oh, this looks like a platformer. And like I think it comes true a little bit in the game, but I also feel like now I really want to see like actually a platformer done in this kind of style, because usually platformers are way more stylized and all that. You never really see platformers in this, like, where you actually like I would stretch, I would wouldn't really call Uncharted a platformer, but that is like more the kind of style of jumping and stuff that you do in this style of game.
Mm-hmm.
And here it's more like you do actual jumps, and you have to actually care about positioning and all this stuff, but it is in this more realistic style. And I think it would be interesting to do a game in this style where like the controls are a little bit more tuned toward platforming than they are here.
Yeah, for sure. And like it is like bordering on like like I do like the platforming in this game, but also it is a little frustrating sometimes when you're trying to like reach a ledge that you're like, I should be able to grab that, and he doesn't. But like again, like the thrusting and the floating stuff is really fun, especially because the game has like Enrico said, you might have an extra like booster. Um, there's a mechanic in the game where basically you hit your thrusters and you can like get an air dash, literally like a dash in the game, and you could do it in the air or on the ground. And like if you level that up, you can get like 3 dashes instead of 2 and stuff. And like you can kind of like see in the distance like an item, and I'm like, man, can I freaking make that jump? That's crazy far. And then it turns out you get a high enough spot and you can. It's super cool.
And in some challenges, the dash becomes like incredibly central as well. I know you haven't tried challenges,
Absolutely.
Curly. Ryan and Dennis probably did.
Yeah, I've
But in some
the
time
challenges.
challenges, especially.
I did like 2 of those when I unlocked them, just to bounce in and bounce out. And yeah, they were. I was like, man, I'm gonna get sucked
They're
into
fun.
this. I could,
They're
Yeah,
really
I could
fun.
definitely see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree completely with the collectibles feel really good. The exploration in the levels feels awesome. And this game is, like I said before, extremely sound mechanically. Shout out to the only character of note outside of the 2 main characters, our boy Cabin.
No,
When they reveal Cabin at this shelter, Cabin is the homie, dude.
yeah, I
Curly,
love Cabin.
First,
Have you
Curly,
seen
how
the
dare you,
video
but
game
this-
Donkey video about Pragmata?
No, I
oh
haven't
god, I
seen
gotta
it.
watch it.
It said,
No,
"Oh,
I
that's the
love-
PS6." Yeah, that's the PS6.
Dude, like I love. They don't really do it anytime outside the original, the initial cutscene. But like how they animate the hat on his
Yeah, the
head,
hat.
it's just
Yeah.
that it's
Oh my God.
just laying there, but it moves around, so it looks like that it's actually he has a hat on, but it's just laying there. It's so good.
I love every single time you buy something from Cal. He's like, "This is one of our hot selling items." Like, I am your only customer. Who else is buying this stuff?
Also, like, well, what is it when you interact with him and he stands there and he's like,
Dude, I love it so much. He is such like he does not fit in this world at all.
yeah.
No,
And he's fucking fits so well in this world.
Yeah.
Like I love him so much.
I love how
Like-
he's just actually a PC case with arms
Yeah.
and legs. He's just a PC case.
Like, somebody in the studio just had a bonkers ass idea, and they're like, "Yeah, sure, go with it." And it became like the best part of the game.
they
I
need
fucked with
to
Kevin. He was cool.
they need to partner with, like, I don't know, fucking Fractal or Silver, whatever the fuck, to
Yeah.
build him
And
as
do
a
a
PC
PC
case.
case?
Yeah.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Actually do the
that would be
cabin PC
sick.
case with a huge fucking OLED screen
Like
on the front.
widescreen monitor.
I want an amiibo. I don't want a PC case. I want a cabin amiibo. I mean,
Oh,
they did
that would be sick.
Yeah.
Oh man. Bring Cabin back, you know?
Yeah,
Cabin needs his own game or something.
the cabin
cabin
game.
spin-off confirmed.
Yeah.
Speaking of cabin, like, let's talk about the shelter.
yeah. This
I have
is a
one
bright spot
note
of the
about
game for
this.
me.
One initial note about this. I don't understand what happens when you die.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Does she brings you back? I mean, like physically? What the fuck is
Yeah,
happening?
I was, because
They
there is
definitely play it.
continuity. There is
Yeah, they
continuity.
play it like you failed and
Come back.
Yeah.
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 I don't know.
Yeah. So what do you guys feel?
Yep.
How do you guys feel about the shelter?
I love
I-
the Earth elements part so much. I think it's
The
probably one of my
REMs.
favorite parts of the game. REMs, thank you.
Mm.
I just adore every moment that Hugh and Diane had with those objects, and that's like I feel like when I say the game overall ends their earns their relationship, I think a lot of it is because of these REMs that are dealt with. And this isn't really a spoiler, but REMs, for anybody wondering, is basically you encounter some sort of synthetic, holographic, or 3D printed version of a real Earth thing that you find throughout the world. So you'll find like a swing set or a soccer ball or whatever.
Mhm.
And then like Diana reacts to that as someone who has no real life experience, and then Hugh reacts to her reacting to it, which is exactly what I was talking about. Like, as a parent, like seeing your child react to something for the first time and seeing the magic in their eyes, and like, man, I loved every single one of those. Anytime I saw one like in the distance, I'm like, I'm getting that bitch. That bitch is gonna be mine. I don't care how long it takes me to find that collectible. It's gonna be got.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think the shelter is just so delightful. And it was like when I wrote to you, I wrote in like our Pragmata chat like a week or so ago, where it's like Pragmata is child propaganda.
Yeah.
And that is just when you're in the shelter and you're just like you just kind of say you like in the shelter you can upgrade Hugh and Diana, and also as Curly mentioned, like you set up these REMs and while you're like running around upgrading and like I don't know, reading bot data or whatever, interacting with Cabin, Diana is just playing with toys, and it's the most wholesome fucking thing of all time. And
So good.
I ended up like I don't know if they should like expose how much time you spent in the shelter, because there's so much time that I just spent watching her play with stuff because it's so cute. It's so
Yeah.
Watching her fall on her face while trying stuff as well. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man, the hide and seek.
Oh
is
yeah,
so
you
Hide and
can
seek
play
was
hide and
good.
seek.
It's
You will
so
never
good.
find me. Yes, I'll find
So
you, little
good.
bitch. No.
The one thing I didn't like was some of the upgrade stuff was like a little too much. Like the game wanted to have almost too many RPG mechanics where it's like, go to this window and upgrade Hugh and Diana, and then go to this one to upgrade your weapons and also your hacking nodes and this and that. And it was just like, it kind of got, like I mentioned earlier, a little bit noisy on some of the stuff because like you don't really feel that many of the mechanics actually
Yeah.
upgrading, where it's like, I'm upgrading this, sure, but the next level, the enemies are that much stronger anyway. And granted, like going back to the older ones, you probably do feel it. It's just like, it almost felt like a little bit was unnecessary to me.
It's like a situation where they have way too many way like what's the word I'm looking for? The upgrades are way too incremental.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
like when you
Yeah.
go into the challenge levels, you are at a designed, you don't keep your current state. When you go in there, you are at like a designed state. So like I found when I was playing some of the challenge levels toward the end of the game, where I'm like almost like fully upgraded, and then you go in there and you have like one dash, and you really
Dead.
notice it. But it's like during the course of the game, you upgrade yourself so incrementally that you never notice it. Um, that you never
But I
like notice your
appreciated it
upgrades.
that they split them up because you have to find the next shelter key, right? To see more power
I
ups
did
and
like
such.
that, the unlockable stuff, like where it's like you'll reach sector 3 and all of a sudden the things change and now you have a new thing to interact with. And by the end, the shelter was like goaty. Like it was a cool little hub.
Yeah, shelter's great the entire time.
Did you guys
some of
play
things
around
that
with
you
the
unlock
different
with the keys,
suits?
No.
Nah.
a little bit.
I hated
played
all
around
of
with it a
them.
little bit.
Yeah.
They all suck.
Also,
They were
all
They all
of the,
kind of sucked, yeah.
also
Especially
like
the Master Chief one. I mean, it's
also like all of the best suits are in the are in like the deluxe edition.
yeah.
Of
and
course
they know about
Like
it.
basically all of the suits you
pre-order
get
one's not
in the
bad.
game are like
Is that the
palette
like really
swaps.
like Japanese looking one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Like
one was
I
kind of
one's
cool,
not-
but
that was
it was
kinda
too
cool.
much though. Like
Yeah.
it was like, all right, y'all.
yeah. I really like the one in the deluxe edition where Diana has like that orange suit. I thought that one looked pretty cool.
Mm.
But I don't
Mm.
like that she doesn't have her hair in that one. Because like
weird.
they
Yeah.
let's fucking talk about the hair physics, dude. My
Mhm.
god. Is it so like fucking impressive, like the hair physics in this game? Like it actually behaves like real hair, and I was like looking at it the whole time as you're like jumping around and you're watching it like pull up and all this stuff. Like it behaves like real hair, unless you play the Switch 2 edition, which then it's not behaving like real hair because it
I
can't
mean,
handle the hair.
even the
The hair
PS5
strands.
version, like it's a little bit wonky, like with some of the like just like I don't
mean,
know
yeah,
if
it's
it's
not
resolution
perfect.
or what.
It's not
Yeah,
perfect, of course, but like
but there's some shots where you see like no spoilers, but like Diana's hair is blowing, and they kind of pan out to a wide shot of it, and you're seeing all the hair kind of blow in different directions. Like, man, that's just hair, dude. This is crazy.
and like in the lunar mines, when you go like between the the gravity and the moon gravity, and
That
you
was so
see
cool.
how that affects her hair, like when you are in like the lower gravity of the moon and the hair kind of floats a little bit more, and then you like walk into that a facility and you just see the hair drop because the gravity went up. Which also I think is not actually how the game is supposed to work, because in the beginning of the game, you see like how they have a normal gravity is because they have magnet boots. So that wouldn't actually affect her hair at all.
Oh, damn. Huh. Didn't realize
He
that.
has magnet hair.
Also, magnet boots would also not affect how he jumps, which it does in this game. So I feel like they should have just instead of magnet boots, they should have just whipped up some artificial gravity bullshit and gone with that, but he didn't.
There's also one very weird design that my oldest son kept pointing out, like, why is she barefoot? Put some shoes on. And they
Oh,
have
Yeah,
an
like,
in-game
what's up
explanation
with
for
that?
it. They have an in-game explanation. I'm like, all right, sure. Let's go.
Whatever.
And also that in-game explanation doesn't make any sense, because
I know.
so the explanation that they give, so there is like an optional voice line, I think, at some point where Q asks her, why don't you wear shoes? And the reason Diana gives is because she charges through the floor, which is the most Kojima ass explanation you've ever heard. And it doesn't make any sense, because you do in another point in the game, she says that she charges through wireless charging. And if you have a case on your phone, you know that you can still charge wirelessly with a case on, because that's not how wireless charging works. Because it wouldn't be wireless if she needed physical contact with the floor to charge.
It's a real good point. It's a really good point.
It's a real good point.
So that
There's also
explanation actually even it just doesn't make any sense.
there's also
Capcom, hi. I have a guy here talking about Pragmata, and he's trying to find logic in a game set on the moon with like a filament that creates every. Yeah, I know. I've already told him.
Enrico,
Okay,
you're saying we
okay.
never went to the moon?
No, we went to the moon, you motherfucker, but twice, at least twice.
we didn't go barefoot, jackass.
Yeah, if I could charge myself by walking barefoot, I would all day, like 100%. Honestly.
But yeah, it's like that's like they're just kind of logic holes like that. They're just so easily fixable. Basically, like there's a lot of those throughout the game where it's like, okay, the gravity thing, the charging thing.
Do we want to jump in and go beat for beat, do some spoilers? Or... You got anything
Yes,
else
sir.
y'all want to touch on?
Yeah.
Let's spoil
Yeah.
the game. Everybody,
All right.
make sure you go and play it for yourself and see what you think.
Yep.
We all recommended
Yeah.
it at the very least. Ryan gave it a good game. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
real
I
quick,
still recommend you play it.
while we're in spoiler territory, just since we're already on the topic, like again, spoilers. Everyone leave if you haven't played the game. Come back and watch the VOD. But like, if she charges through her feet, what does she do now on the beach? What's she gonna do?
Dude,
Great
like,
point.
fucked?
I wanna get to the whole thing about the ending later, because I would say I would actually go as far as to say that my biggest problem with this game is the ending.
I love the
That's
ending.
tough.
I love the
But
ending.
I don't
Just
wanna
wanted
talk-
Chris Redfield to drop in and do something, right?
Let's not get to that until we actually get to
Yeah,
the
let's-
ending.
Let's start at the top, everybody. I'm gonna serve this up from the official Pragmata website for the intro, because this is good stuff. In the near future, several years have passed since humanity discovered Lunum ore. With it, they researched lunafilament, a material capable of replicating anything as long as they have its data. One day, without warning, they lost all signals to the lunar research station dedicated to the research and development of this lunafilament. At this point, Hugh Williams and plot devices 1, 2, and 3 are dispatched to the moon. However, a massive lunar quake hit soon after they arrived. Hugh Williams is separated from his team, unconscious and badly injured, is discovered by a mysterious android in the form of a young girl. So let's talk about this opening moment with Hugh Williams and his team, whose names I will never remember. I will not bother to remember.
Yeah.
Wait, okay. I know one of them the lead guy is named James, and one of them is named Nick. I don't remember the third guy's name. The only reason I remember Nick is because
one of them
he
was Peppy, the other one was Slippy.
It's like Destiny's
James
Child. You
McLeod.
know two of them, and then it's okay. I mean, it's
So
okay.
the only reason I remember Nick is because Nick is mentioned multiple times by Hugh, because Nick actually had a family, and he
So
mentions
apparently the
them.
names are
I don't like
James,
that.
Ken, and Nicholas.
Yeah, so
There you
Nick
go.
is
2 out of 3.
mentioned multiple times because he thinks about his family a lot.
We will
That's sad.
refer to them as plot devices 1, 2, and 3, whatever one you want to give to whichever one, doesn't matter. So they are immediately dispatched to the moon, and then immediately dispatched from the rest of this game. We're done with them. Get them out of here. Hugh doesn't care. We don't care. Nobody cares.
He doesn't
Like,
care for
this
very
was-
long, yeah.
He does not care at all, dude. He has one little throwaway line where he's like, "These were my best friends in the whole world." We're like, really?
Well, it's a small world. It's the moon.
And they're also soldiers, which is never highlighted that much, by the way.
True.
How do we feel about this opening, the prologue? And also, like, let's take this moment to touch on the idea of the lunafilament and the fact that this game is just so invested in the idea of 3D printing. Like the what this game has to say as a bigger picture is like 3D printing is real cool, but maybe it's
cool.
real bad. It's real bad.
Yeah, because they say you can build anything, but it's also much more fragile than actually building it, right? So yeah,
Right.
it's
I'm gonna just out myself here and be honest. Through probably the first third of the game, I had no fucking clue what was going on.
Dude,
Like, I don't know
same.
if I missed this part of the beginning about the 3D printing, the lunafilament. I was just kind of there. I saw his friends die, and like I was like, no kidding, it took me to like sector 3 with 8 where I was invested at all with the story, because I was just like, I'm cool with hanging out with Diana and fucking James McLeod or whatever the fuck this guy's name is.
I,
but,
I
like,
think it's literally
I
the first
just-
dialogue they have in the game explaining
Yeah.
the Luna filament and the
I
moon.
just
It really
imagine
is.
I just imagine Curly walking around high as a fucking guy.
Yeah.
Just not hanging
Am I on
on
a
to
fucking
anything that's
moon?
going on.
Dude,
But dude, am I
I'll
on
be
the
honest,
moon, man? It's 3D printed.
Curly's Hugh took shrooms the day before, I think.
I was trying to read the notes. I was trying to pay attention with the holograms. I was like, what the fuck is going on in this game, y'all? Like, these characters are adorable, but it took me so long to catch up. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but yeah, like that first line, woo, right out my fucking head. Like, it was gone.
But if you cut the Luna filament from the picture, big Dead Space vibes, unrequisited Dead Space vibes at the beginning. Especially a couple of like I appreciated the composition of the frame, which is strange to say about a video game, but it's Capcom, so Capcom is able to do some strange things with the camera.
I've never played Dead Space, but this game does like paint itself into like like an isolation type corner, like a Dead Space or like a Metroid game, where like there is nobody else in this game to talk to. There are no NPCs other than Edis, who is whatever Edis is. We'll talk more about it in a minute, but like I think this game is a little bit at odds with itself, where it wants to create this sense of isolation like a Metroid does or like a Dead Space does, and then like you've got this cute little 8-year-old just talking in your ears. I hit its weak point, Hugh. Like, it just...
So I'm fucking trying.
Like I don't think the game has the feeling of Dead Space or that at all. In fact, like I think and I think that's fine. Like I think the fact that you have Diana there the whole time makes everything feel a lot more comforting, despite the fact that this is like a really scary situation realistically.
But yeah, Hugh just doesn't care about it. Like, he's immediately like, yeah, that was awesome, right? It's just like, yeah, it was.
My friends just died gruesome deaths, but man, we're having a great time of it.
Whoa, that was sick. Good hacks.
Also, like 2 of them get sucked out into space, and like at no point is he like, well, you know, they're in astronaut suits. Maybe they're floating
I
out
know,
somewhere. Maybe we can
dude.
No.
Speaking
no,
of
they're gone.
logical
We're
errors,
done.
like at no point did I think those 2 were dead.
Yeah.
Like if the game,
Nah, you
like
get sucked out into space, you're dead.
you're not sucked
That's
it
the
out into
rules.
space. You're sucked out onto the moon with space suits.
That's true.
Like and as you can see later, he is out on the surface of the moon at extended periods of time with no issue. Like there is 100% a realistic scenario where those 2 survive. But the game like plays that moment as like they just got sucked out into outer space, which is not what happened at all. Like if you just take that for what it is and not for how Hugh reacts to what happens, James is the first character that dies because he's explicitly killed by a walker.
Yeah.
Does he kill by a walker? I thought he had like stuff fall on top of him.
I'm pretty sure he's killed by a walker.
No, that's the last one, I think, right?
Yeah.
There's only 4 of them, right? It's just Hugh and 3 other dudes.
But also,
2 others.
stuff fell on him. He's still in an astronaut suit.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. Did any of them actually die?
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure James actually gets killed by a walker. I'm pretty sure he says something on the radio to indicate that it's a walker.
No, I think 2 of them get sucked out of space, and the third one gets things on top of him and crushed and whatever.
Maybe you got sat on by a walker.
Yeah.
Lamau.
My thing is like none of these guys are confirmed dead. Hugh's just a really bad friend.
But that's not a point. They weren't really friends. They were just colleagues.
They were his best friends in the world.
Yeah, he does.
When
say
does
that
it say that? I don't remember him saying that.
He says that they were his best friends. He does say
Diana shows Hugh a picture of that she drew for him with her and him, and then he proceeds to show a picture that he drew of all his best friends on crayon on paper. He's like,
Wait,
look at my friends. They're probably alive.
Yeah, it's there are just logical
Don't
errors.
get stuck on narrative. Don't get stuck on narrative.
It's fine. We're gonna get stuck on narrative a lot in this, in this synopsis.
Because like my biggest issue with it is like I think that every narrative issue or every like logistical issue that this game has is entirely solvable. It is they at no point are they in any situation where they are in like a logical snafu where doing one thing will break something else. It's just a situation where they didn't
But as
care.
you know, Dennis, game dev is an equation. Would you want a better narrative but a worse gameplay?
It's not how it works.
That's
Two different
precisely how it
teams are
works.
working on that.
That's 100% how it works.
Bro, have you ever done math? Come on.
Like, I don't think that you have the gameplay designers and they do gameplay design, and then you have the scenario writer and he does scenario writing. It's not like a one or the other situation.
It is a one or the other situation.
So, all right. So at this point, we have survived the moonquake, right? And we were introduced to well, actually, before that, we get
Which
our
again
first
doesn't make any
glimpse
sense. There
of-
aren't quakes on the moon.
Right. We got our
Yeah,
first.
there's
glimpse
not lunar
of
filament
the-
either, Dennis.
Jesus.
Actually, we
You
don't know.
You haven't been to the moon. We don't know yet.
It's true.
We got 3D
Yeah, no
printers.
one
Maybe
has.
we can make stuff out of moon rock.
I mean, have you
Um,
seen Moonfall? There's an alien base inside the moon, actually.
Yeah. The moon is empty, yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Moon's haunted.
It's cheese.
Before we get to the part with Diana, we get introduced to our first what you called it as a walker, right? The enemy design, at least the base level enemy design. How do we feel about the enemy designs overall?
Well, I want to first I want to note the first scene that you have with the walker, which is when your friends are still alive, and
Right.
like there is
And then
one
they kill
point
James.
where Hugh says, "As I always say, never trust a bot," and then the bot reaches out his hand to help him walk through. And I'm gonna get into more of that later, but yeah, I would just wanted to note that scene.
That was like the game telling you, like, oh, this guy doesn't like robots. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very subtle.
Done. Check on the list.
You can just see him like, okay, list of things we have to do. Make sure the person playing
Doesn't
knows
like-
that Hugh doesn't like robots. Done.
Yep. Hates them. Also, sorry, my dog's barking. Not like my feet.
But dogs are barking. All right, so Hugh survives or it doesn't survive disaster, is saved from disaster by our by everybody's favorite character in the game, DI03367, which Hugh decides is way too annoying to say, and dubs her Diana.
He also cuts her off no less than 17 times when he asked her, like, who are you? What are you? And she tries to tell him, and he's like, oh, enough of that. That was so annoying. Like, shut the fuck up. Stop asking questions. Let her talk.
Also, can we get some kind of like narrative of why you chose Diana other than the fact that her name starts with D-I? Like,
That was
like,
it.
it's I guess that's all we needed, but I don't know. We could have tied that back into something else.
We could have called her Dio at this point because it's D10 something, right? So
Dio.
Dio.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
So the two proceed to get acquainted and
The
immediately
J.J.
become
Abrams
besties.
robot from Rise of Skywalker. Yeah.
Can I just redirect
then-
the attention of the public to science.nasa.gov/moon
God.
/moonquake?
Yes, you can. Please.
Go ahead, tell us all about it.
The moon is still losing heat and as a result shrinking slightly. This shrinking plus the stress on the moon's outer layer produced by the tugging of Earth's gravitational pull cracks the moon's crust through moonquakes.
Okay,
Look
so
at it.
moonquakes are actually a thing.
Tennis get
Amazing.
wrecked, dude.
Yeah, dude. You don't even know equations, bro. Shut up.
Drop in the mic.
All right, so we're here in the first section of the game with Diana.
No, but wait, Ryan, what's your take on the anime design? Because you've asked us, but you haven't said it yourself.
I find them really random. Like, so again, mechanically, I feel like the different mechanics that the enemies serve throughout the game are fantastic, but the style of this game just leaves me lacking so much. And I get like the walker is clearly designed, I guess, around to look like a human, except for the fact that they can make full on humans. I don't know the from a design perspective. They don't really jump off the page. They're kind of boring to me. I don't understand some of the choices with like the.
On that note, like they do mention there's a throwaway line that, or I think it's not even a line. I think it's in one of the documents that you read, which is that human-looking robots are banned on Earth.
Yeah, we're on the moon.
Yeah,
Also
but
because they're useless.
that's
the
the
worst shape you
reason
could give
why the walker is humanoid but doesn't look like a human, because human-looking robots are banned.
And that's fine. And maybe
this whole
the base level like.
And the whole thing that creates like experimental pragmatics, what ends up being like what creates Diana and 8 is essentially an illegal experiment because you're not allowed to create human-looking robots. And there's like a legal gray area because they are on the moon.
Which I had another question about later on in the game, but we'll get there. But also, I kind of disagree. I think the enemy design is pretty varied and pretty awesome, actually. Like, there's moments where I'm like, oh shit, this is like Miyazaki level of like craziness. Like, you got crazy tentacle fucking robot squid people.
But I agree. But
giant baby head fucking walking dudes.
Yeah,
around,
I agree.
Why?
Yes, but why is the biggest question?
But
like,
why? There's
a line.
Like, there's nothing.
I can give you an easy explanation. This is how AI works. This is whatever you feed them, random shit. This is what comes out. Like, this is.
There is a line from
or stated or like
there is a line.
You see them in the enemy designs.
There's a line from Diana at one point where like Hugh says like, why are the I think it's specifically after you see the scorpion enemy in where it's like, why who would make this? Like, why does it look like this? And Diana says Edis's robot designs were always weird.
It's just a throwaway line. It means
always
nothing.
Like strange or whatever she says, and it's
one of them.
It doesn't make sense. Like, yes, I by the way, Ryan, I'm on your side here. It's not substantiated enough, and it's not substantiated why Edis is weird.
Yeah,
especially
also,
like
this is not.
If it was like, okay, you could explain it from a perspective of like, okay, 8 is the one that made them weird when she took over Edis. But that is not the explanation. When Diana says they were always weird, that needs explanation. Like, if it was the other situation where like, okay, they were all real normal before 8 took over Edis, then okay, 8 is the one who's making them weird. Which kind of needs explanation as well to some extent, but not as much as they were already weird and no one did anything about it. Like, okay, this AI is making
about it is the problem. Yeah,
this AI is making a scorpion with human hands along the tail, and we're just all fine with that.
we got a scorpion with human hands that turns invisible. We got giant baby man. We got a weird like samurai like ninja.
But it is the fucking 2 swords. Like, this is what, like, I don't know. I chalked it up to like, this is some AI generated bullshit. Like, that's what you would get. Like, it's like, I want this ultimate destruction fucking ninja robot thing to defend this fucking area or something. It's like, it would just churn out some bullshit.
But it's
like,
said in multiple notes throughout the game. I know I don't justify narrative for notes, just to be clear. But I don't think we should ask ourselves where the design comes from, because it's also, crazy man on the moon doing crazy stuff in secret. Most notes is that like most notes is I've seen the new design on those things. I don't know why they look like that. Maybe just keep away from him and whatever they're doing, because most of the notes is they're aware of something that's not completely normal about the design of some things, but they also say like it's someone else's issue, like it's not my job. A very Capcom kind of like way of working in a way.
It's the video game equivalent of Palpatine Returns somehow. Like, hey, these guys are making weird stuff. I don't know why, but there's nothing tethering these designs to the world. Like,
But they don't need
which
it.
is
They're
fine.
cool
It
to
doesn't-
look
it
at.
doesn't
They're
need
look
it.
to shoot at.
I
That's
think
it.
outside of I would say probably the first few enemy types that you meet are still like pretty okay. Yeah, this makes sense. There's a humanoid robot, and like this one makes sense because you want you want humanoid robots because they can integrate with human interfaces very easily. There is the hovering. There's the Watcher one, which is like a flying drone. Like that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like that's like a surveillance thing. Like those are the ones that's in the beginning that make a lot of sense. And then you have like the samurai guy. It's like, why are you a samurai?
Why are you samurai?
Yeah, why are you a samurai? Why are you a scorpion with human arms?
That's what happens when you let AI do stuff. Like they just
Yeah,
said,
that's
Idus,
what I'm
make
saying.
me 4 type of robots, and it said, yeah.
Also, because it makes for good enemy design.
Yeah,
You know?
no, and that's like to some extent, it's like okay, yeah, it's just a cool enemy. It's like,
It's like,
fine.
why do you fight a fucking house in Final Fantasy? Who gives a shit? It's awesome.
Yeah, I also
agree
think
with
But
that's
the
Curly.
like
house is tied to the world. You can find lore explaining the house.
This is
in
literally
world.
AI 3D printing bullshit. It makes sense.
But that's just like it's like an easy cop out.
Yeah.
I just
the
wait,
materials
hold-
for
wait,
the house.
hold on,
sentient.
hold on. Ryan, what is the explanation for the house, please?
I'd have to pull it up. I don't have that. Remember, like I don't have that from
I
memory.
can't-
It's AI.
I
It's AI in the
I
world of Final
cannot
Fantasy.
realize. I cannot see in front of me how you explain that in a way that doesn't feel like a cop out.
It's to make moving apartments easier in Midgar. You just have the house walk.
If the houses
away.
And
could
it
move
can-
themselves,
And it
would be
can
easier.
produce fire
Yeah.
and
You
lightning.
need to be warm in the winters. It's very harsh winters in
like-
Midgard.
It makes no sense. But you know how fucking hyped I was in Remake when that house came up into the fucking
Yeah, I mean, I was
Coliseum?
hyped too, and
also
I
That
hadn't
shit was
even
hype
played.
as hell.
fantasy setting.
Dude, I was hyped too, and I hadn't even played the original. I mean, it was fucking sick.
This
but,
is
like,
sci-fi. What do you mean? It's not realistic.
It's
literally
they're
science
going for a
fiction,
more
bro.
like
I would say that the game is giving off the idea of being more grounded. I would also say that the Final Fantasy VII remake also tries to be very grounded in the beginning, and when the house shows up, things just are thrown out the window real fast.
we can dive into the Hell House another time.
Yeah,
But there is in-game lore dedicated to the house.
Sure. Intimate design is dope though. I like it.
And they look cool. I agree. I
Yeah.
do like the way they
Well,
look.
I mean, they look cool and mechanically. They're all like pretty varied.
No,
and awesome.
mechanically, I think what they do for the combat is better than anything else. Like I could probably leave the designs, to be honest with you. They're cool. There's nothing tethering them to the game, which is probably my biggest critique. But like the how they serve the combat is amazing.
Mm.
The way they make you think, each new enemy type makes you have to think in a different way. I really love
Whenever
that.
you find out you can send missiles back to enemies with hacking those are cool.
Mm.
I like
Yeah,
that.
it's really cool. Let's see, where are we at? So after the defeating the walker, collect the. Okay, so we're with Diana. We're still in the first.
wait, I have another question regarding the enemies
Oh, Jesus.
in this
This is
game.
gonna be 8 hours long. Go, Dennis.
Why do they have this much security? Who
Because they're
are they?
secrets.
Who are they using the
What are they
security
hiding?
against? Exactly, it's not
On the moon.
like they have not introduced any form of like alien attacks or anything.
No, it's security against some of the scientists groups. They said so in a couple of points and a couple of notes as well. Because the more crazy the guy was going, the more he isolated departments, so he could use each of those autonomously and without one talking to the other, basically.
And
So
that's
much of
why
the
we
security
need
is
flying robots with missiles.
yeah, precisely.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you do HR on the moon.
Flying robots with missiles.
That's a good point. It's true.
Yeah.
All right.
We
but
also
let's-
don't know, like the flying robots, like we mentioned earlier, could have been surveillance drones. Then Edis turns them into weapons. You know, like
I mean, it does
Right,
that
so-
with one of the bosses, right? Like one of the bosses is explicitly a system that they had for something else,
Yeah.
and it is just changes it into a boss.
I don't know, Dennis. Why they have guns and crates everywhere? Why,
What's up
why are
with
there orange
plants
boxes
in
with
Requiem? I
hacking
mean,
mods. None of this makes sense. It's a goddamn
Yeah.
video game.
Yeah.
moving
Alright.
forward.
Yes.
moving onward. So we have Diana here in our party at this point. We are in. I guess we go to the shelter first, right? Offer like we get introduced to the hacking portion of the game, the combat of the game, and then we immediately find ourselves in the shelter. And then from there we go to the first sector of the game, the solar power plant, which is our the job there is to restore power to the lunar base. And I'll be honest, this one escapes me. I don't know if I remember this first sector too much.
This
but
This
very
is mostly
tutorial.
it's mostly just gameplay tutorial. There's not a lot happens that happens.
It did
here.
have cool collectibles right off the bat. Like there's like 2 different paths you can go. The one path has a just bunch of platforming stuff, and like you easily find out in the game, like, oh wow, there's like different whole other areas just to kind of explore and gather stuff in. It's cool. But yeah, mostly forgettable.
You do get to introduce to some of the more like gamey stuff in this section with the power terminals, which. But so we go from there, like from the power station up to like the Big Apple section of the game, and they double down on the hacking terminals at that, where it's like, oh, there was 2 in the first one, and now there's 6, and they're scattered all over the city.
Yeah.
And I just was like, this is not. Please don't make this a thing. For
And
the
they
rest of the
keep
game.
doing it
I'm
a
already
thing.
tired of it. I'm so tired.
I mean, that's basically Leon has to build a detonator for.
But they
for
do
the-
that once.
I mean,
Here they do that like
how many keys did you have to
multiple
find to
times.
escape the sanitarium with Grace?
Yeah, but that's
Okay,
somewhere
but, like,
it's a completely different thing, because like in that situation, in Requiem, like the story progresses throughout that. Like here in Pragmata, it's a literal door, and all you get from the beginning of starting to unlock that door to the end are like small conversations. Then nothing progresses during that time. Like
Mechanics do, like they explain to you. More stuff
but
mechanically.
narratively it doesn't. So it feels more like a wall, and something you have to. And but in like I would say that they only do this once in Requiem, and that is the with Leon. With Grace, there are multiple things you need to unlock to move past that first area, but the story advances at multiple points during that time, so it doesn't feel like there's one door. You have a lot of it's just like the one at the end of a bunch of doors that lead you to different areas. Here it's like one area and a door at the end of it, and there's no progression in the meantime.
I don't necessarily agree or disagree, but like I do feel like a lot of the smaller conversations did push a lot of like what we love about the characters at the end. Like there's small conversations here and there, just in between those like seemingly meaningless tasks, but then also you do find like the REMs and stuff while you're doing these things too.
Yeah.
So
And I want to underline the fact that the only reason I think this is a problem is because they do so much.
Yeah, like it is like this sector has this thing, this sector has this thing, but it is all kind of the same. But I feel like each sector also has its own gimmick, so it kept it interesting, at least for me. It never really bothered me.
I think it's just too many, honestly. Like, and we're comparing it to RE with the Leon section, but like every single piece that you go after for the detonator for Leon, there's an incredible set piece designed for that piece. Like whether it's the gas station or shooting the glass out. Here it's just, hey, well, you're gonna go here, you're gonna unlock this thing, you're gonna do some combat, and you're gonna do a little hacking mini game, you're gonna unlock that lock, and you're gonna do that 6 times before you get to the final part of this level.
I understand your point, but it's Requiem is more narrative based, and this is more mechanics based, and every section of that brings the mechanics forward.
but I
But it's
don't
still
think
an
it
action
does it
game, and you can
enough.
have action set bases or action set pieces mechanically speaking, like things that are interesting from a level design perspective, or big like set pieces that happen in those levels or in those environments that I feel like almost never happen in this game.
And it's not just about like set
Disagree.
pieces and stuff. It's just the fact that I think when you have an explicit door like that, and I think the New York area is the biggest offender there, is that every time you go and unlock something, you get reminded of how much you'd still have to do. Like they could have
Yeah.
had this the exact same level and removed the door, and it would just not feel as tedious, because then
I feel like it
and you would
feel
have to
less
say
epic
you would
too,
have to
though.
change some contextual things, of course, to make it make sense. But like if that was just a linear level going through this kind of New York stage, and you have to go and unlock these things or whatever, do these things around there, then it would feel more like the other levels in the game that are more linear like that, because the level is essentially linear. You just kind of walk through this a little bit more open space, but you're just constantly reminded by this door that you have to go
Yeah.
past. And like when you are at when you've spent like an hour there and you've unlocked 2 parts of the door, then you're like, Jesus Christ, how much longer is this? Instead
It
of
took
just
you an hour?
enjoying. I don't remember. It's just an
I
example.
was there for at least a couple hours or
Yeah, I
more,
was
but,
there for a
like,
while.
I
But
was
like,
exploring a lot too.
yeah,
but-
no, and I was enjoying my time there. But it was like every time I was unlocking a part of the door, I was reminded by how much there's left to do here, in like a bad
To that
way.
degree. To that degree, I think that's the biggest difference that I feel for me from RE to this is like Resident Evil is a game that takes you out of it being a game and makes it feel like just an experience or a journey. This is like Pragmata constantly reminds you that you're playing a video game, and it is a video game ass video game, and which is fine. It's kind of like you mentioned this before, Dennis, but it's kind of a game out of time where it feels like more of a PS3 era type video game.
I'll say I like the big door. I thought it was like the entire time. I'm like, man, something big probably behind that big old door, huh? And then something real fucking big was behind that big old door. I liked the like suspense it gave, and like that was like one of my favorite sections of the game, honestly. And I get where y'all are coming from, where it's like, man, 6 of these really, but like there was literally like I got one, and then I turned the corner. I'm like, oh shit, the next one's already right there. Like
Yeah.
it didn't really seem like, oh, got to do this one forever and then get to the next one. They were like really close to each other. I feel like you could beeline that section pretty quickly. But like I was exploring anytime I would see anything like, oh, look at this. Oh, dude, one of my favorite bots was like that crazy fast flying one where you couldn't let it get
Oh,
away.
it drops a lot
stuff.
of lumen. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was really
Mm.
cool. And then like there's whole like platforming sections with like loot and stuff that I thought was like really fun. But like I do get where you're coming from, because it did start to like each time I was like, all right, I'm tired of this. It was over though. Like it never like overstayed its welcome in my opinion.
I think I was also a little bit tired of it, because I died multiple times at the there's like a big combat thing just before one of the towers.
I know which one you're talking about. I died a couple times.
And I
there, too.
died a bunch of times there, and I didn't realize that there was a shorter way to get there. So I went through that whole like basically level that leads up to it like maybe 10 times. And I was
Dude,
starting to get really fucking tired of it. And I think I did that section, and then I stopped playing for the day, because I was
I
like,
had the
I'm
same
kind of done
exact
with
thing
this right
happen to
now.
me. Where it's like, man, it really makes you go through all this. And then at one point I look over, I'm like, motherfucker, there's a shortcut to or back to the
Yeah.
shuttle part.
And
right there.
I think it's because the reason why is because you kind of climb upward, and then you're already up along the rooftops, and you're supposed to like go around the square at the top of there, and then you kind of move on. But there is a whole section down there at ground level that is kind of completely optional. And
Yeah.
that's where the door is. So, like, they don't really do you any favors in terms of saving time because you never
Yeah.
see that door unless you go down there on your own. That
Yeah,
door
just
should
in
have been
general,
either unlocked automatically or be like more obvious for you in some way.
yeah, just in general, I didn't care for the checkpoint system that much. Like, I like that it's similar to like a bonfire situation where it's like, oh, there's my next beacon of hope. Because like the game does do the interesting thing where it's like you don't really have heals that often.
Mm.
You're kind of
Right.
just like, this is your life bar until you go back to the shuttle. But there's never really any consequence of just going back to the shuttle or anything you
Shelter.
gain from not doing anyway. Yeah, sorry.
It also doesn't make sense how these escape hatches get you magically back to the shelter.
Yeah. It's like, can we
They
not
just
just like hack
vaguely
this whole thing to bring me to the end? Like,
they just vaguely explain that it's like, oh, it's a tram system
yeah.
that goes to all of these very strange points.
But yeah, the checkpointing system kind of bothered me a little bit. There's a few times where I was a little miffed, where I'm like, man, I really got to go through all this because all the enemies respawn, and it's like,
Mm.
just want to get back to that
I
one part that got me.
I think it's really nice the way it works because to some extent I kind of enjoy the fact that like when you die, you kind of get this moment uh to reassess and calm down and
Mm.
stuff like that. But I think it would have at that point that I just mentioned where I died like 10 times is basically the only point in the game where I died more than once.
Dude, same.
Um,
That same exact spot. That's crazy.
and so that was the only time that became annoying. But I could definitely see for someone who died a lot, especially on the bosses, that could be extremely annoying that you have to go back to the shelter every time. Like, remember, we're living in a world where people complained about the fact that you go back to the map every time in New Super Mario Bros.
Hmm.
Instead of just instead of just starting from the flag immediately, and that was something that people thought was really annoying. And here's like a situation where
Yeah.
you lose like essentially almost 5 minutes every time you die because you have to go all the way back to where you were and you are in the shelter and you have to like go through the load screen to go from the shelter to the area you were at. And not only that, but you have to navigate the menu to get to the point where you were and all this stuff. Like there are a lot of obstacles that you have to get over just to get back to where you were. But again, that is only a problem when you die repeatedly. And I think there could have been a solution to that. Like maybe if you die more than once at the same area, you just get a respawn button instead of having to go back to the shelter. Because again, like I do like this. The fact that you go back to the shelter, it's a nice thing, and I like how they do it contextually, where it's like, oh, they actually talk about like, oh, difficulties with the boss or whatever. Like I like that vibe and I really like that, but again, like I think repeated deaths at the same area could have been fixed by having just like a retry button in the interface when you die
Mm.
multiple times.
From there, so we're in the Big Apple, right? I guess after you get through the door, it's kind of like the end point of the level, and we get our first like so we kind of glossed over that first boss fight with who's that?
The
Bill.
security
Sector
thingy.
Guard. Sector
Yeah.
Guard. What do we think about the bosses in this game?
I love them.
Yeah, I think they
I
were
thought they
good.
were awesome.
I think it's where the game shines the most for me is the boss fights for sure.
Yeah, they're very varied, and that they're the most interesting parts with hacking and stuff. Like, it's super cool. And the game does stay on like the easier side, except for like a handful of sections. Um, but at the same time, like it was never so easy to where I was like button mashing or anything. Like, I was keeping an eye on my health. I was like, oh shit, I'm done with all my heals, and like I almost died here and there. It's like the game like really started to put up a good challenge on the bosses, and like, yeah, I got nothing else to say except they're solid.
Not to pull out lunatic difficulty every single time, but that's the first skill check in that difficulty. Like that boss is does not stay open enough long enough for you to do any real damage if you don't go through every single opening node in the grid.
Sounds like
Yeah,
hell. I'm good.
it is. It is.
I kind of I'm gonna give it a try at some point.
Yeah,
And it's not New Game Plus, by the way. So you gotta start from scratch.
Oh,
as someone
Ooh,
as someone
okay.
who's not like a Souls guy who just loves being punished like that, I'm good.
I'm interested how it transforms the gameplay because for me, like, and I always like to bring up Final Fantasy as much as possible, but Final Fantasy VII is like that where when you jump into hard mode, it just transforms the combat
Yeah.
entirely. It's where like you're not just breezing through things, and you got to think, and that's what I love with that combat so much. And I kind of want to see if it does the same thing here in Pragmata. But from the Big Apple, we are now.
real quick, can you change the difficulty
No.
at any time in the game? Or you have to start a new game.
Lower you can go, but you
have to start a new
can't
game
change it. Yeah,
for-
Lunatic is unlocked when you finish the game, and once you're in Lunatic mode, you can't change it.
Just like, do you say it like that because it's Luna? Because you know it's pronounced lunatic, right?
Yeah, Lunatic,
Lunatic. That's what he said.
because it's Luna. It's not. It's
I
not.
know,
Luna.
I know. That's why I said it like I know you're saying it that way because it's Luna. I just want to make sure that you know it's
I
pronounced
just
lunatic.
woke up and said I want to trigger Dennis as much as possible with my pronunciation today.
Incredible. All right, so in the Big Apple, we get the creator boss fight, which is like the first time I feel like this game plays with scale, like with the enemies. Man,
so cool.
This is so cool. The boss.
We'll
is
talk about a
huge.
big door, big boss. Come on.
I mean, the big door, whatever, but the big boss.
Yeah, it
This is
was a cool
awesome.
boss. Definitely a cool boss.
This
I
fight
found it a
rips.
tad too long, maybe a little bit too long. Like it felt I wasn't doing as much damage as I wanted to, and especially when it brings up the shields, the back
Oh,
ones.
yeah.
I found very difficult to get to.
Oh, getting the right angle on him was tough.
No,
There's
but it was a good boss. Yeah.
There's some mechanics that it, so this not too long before this is where we first get the charge gun, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The
Which
worst thing.
I used for this fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean you kind of
Because
have to.
I thought it worked okay here. I quickly
I use my
abandoned it.
pistol.
It one shots the shield basically a full charge.
It does really good damage when he's like charging at you with like his mouth open too.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll go ahead and move on to the next sector, which is where the story starts to kind of pivot a little bit. We go
This is
from the Big
Finally,
Apple.
where I started picking up that we're doing a story at all.
The shrooms wore off finally. Makes sense.
We get to the Terradome, which is like again big setting change. We go to like a more foresty, like jungle type area. We get so we get at the end of the Big Apple, we get a little tease of what's going to happen with the Terradome. We get this little like CGI virtualized cat that's like walking around, right? And Diana's really interested in it. And then we see this cat again in the Terradome and it starts talking, right? It's like, you got a freebie, you got to save me or whatever. Am I tracking there?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Real quick, were the characters aware that there was a hologram? Like, I felt like
I don't think they were.
I'm like, it was very clearly visually very clearly visually a hologram, and then it seemed like they were surprised when Diana like touched through it. Ugh. And I was like, wait, y'all thought that was a real cat on the moon? Like, what
From you being
Brought a
on
cat up
shrooms, they were on shrooms. I think in that section.
No, I do like the fact that like Diana was like trying to catch it. It's like, that's just light, right?
She don't know.
You're
She
pregnant.
knows
You should be able
some
to
stuff.
know.
I mean,
She's 8 years old. She doesn't know.
6 years old, actually.
ChatGPT thinks October is written with an X somewhere in it. So I mean, we're kind of
They mentioned at one point in the game that she was designed after Daisy when she was 6 years old.
6, 7. Yeah,
Please no.
that's
Please
the last
stop.
numbers of her name.
That's
But
a good point.
yeah, the cat thing was cool. It was really cute. And again, it was awesome seeing Diana react to a kitty cat, and it's like, oh, she's so adorable. I love her, and I'll kill anyone for her. Anyone.
Can we talk about the best line in the shelter, where it's like, "Are you bored, Hugh? Let's pretend we're cats. I'll be a cute striped one, and you'll be a big white fur ball." And then Hugh was like, "I just remembered I had something else to do."
That's good.
While walking to the upgrade monitor and just staying there 12 minutes.
I got that one multiple times, so I know it like literally like word by word.
So the difficulty in the forest section like ramping up a little bit.
Yeah,
I didn't really have any problems with that one.
I noticed a spike. I don't know if this game ever gets difficult in the standard difficulty, but there were occasional spikes, and this is one of them. Like especially when they like first introduced this is where we get like the scorpion enemies, right?
The invisible guy.
Yeah, which one of my favorite parts of this game is when you get captured by them and you have to do the quick hacking to free Hugh from its grasp.
I love every time that happens.
So good.
Yeah.
It was like I'm just gonna get grabbed as much as possible. This is awesome.
Pause.
I wanted more of that. I wanted more like QTE stuff.
I mean, most enemies have a grab situation.
There's a
All
lot of
enemies
like
have a grab.
charm in it, like where like you will like physically like push Diana away from it, and then you see like Diana help, and then like he goes and picks her up, and they always have a moment like, yeah, good job, and I'm like, yeah, man, I love these guys.
Yeah.
Or when you fail that, and Diana's like, "I'm sorry," and he's like, "Don't worry about it."
I just lost 1/3 of my health. Don't think about it. No worries.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
No big deal. Coughing.
I'm just bleeding to death.
Yeah.
This is also where we're introduced to the samurai guys, right? I don't think they were in any other sections.
No, they were.
This.
Yeah, no,
like it's right at the front of the Terradome.
Yeah, exactly. That's the first samurai.
Yeah.
So we get into the Terradome and we meet 8. She's tied up in some trees, and she needs us to free her by erasing the trees, and then the journey through to unlock the doors begins again.
Now
it's a different journey as before.
2 areas to
We're removing and adding trees now. All right, guys.
Yes.
Well, we have to unlock the doors in order to get to the area where we can remove the trees.
Yeah, we have to go through 2 areas to unlock the elevator, which leads to 8, which then leads to another area to unlock 8.
This section had one of my favorite red rooms. Did y'all ever encounter those? The red door rooms?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Those are fun.
Yeah.
Oh, the
This
big
one had
ones
a
with the
really cool
laser on the
one.
bottom, right?
Yeah, the lasers on the bottom. That one was super cool. Those rooms were my favorite. They were like super challenging.
Yeah.
And like there was like a fight on the treetops with 2 of the like walking asshole robots. And yeah, it was cool.
And they introduced the hovering ones with the missiles as well.
Yeah.
Anybody off themselves in the rooms with the laser things that shoot from the ceiling? If you're standing under it when Diana
I accidentally killed myself. Yeah.
I did not die in any of those, no.
Well, anytime I was like
death too.
Anytime I was given the opportunity to hack something, I was like, yeah, sure.
Diana clearly says, "Hey, don't hack this while you're underneath it." It's like, whatever, dude.
Whatever.
I wish they used that more throughout the game. Actually, like
yeah,
because it's the only true trap you have in a way. But they just use it here and there, and it's a thing in the challenges. But yeah, that's pretty much all of its use.
Not to go back to the door conversation again, but this is a good example of a situation where how contextually it's better, because okay, you have two locks in the beginning, and then you actually make some progress, and then there's another lock, and that changes things just like a little bit more instead of having all 6 locks at the beginning.
Yeah.
But the reason why it's still annoying in this section is because you just did 6 locks in the last area. But like in this, if this section was like more in isolation, like this is kind of more how I would have wanted it to be done. Basically, is what I mean.
I like the gimmick of this area with the trees, and then like the overall goal being like we need to get this lift up, and the trees are in the way, and the inclusion of 8, which we didn't really talk about. Did anybody trust 8 at all at any point?
I was always a little bit like, I don't know.
As
About
soon as
this.
she
There's
was like,
something
"You got to get me
suspicious.
down, and I'll go down to Earth with you guys," or whatever, I was like, nah,
I don't think she said
That's
that.
trap.
Implicitly, I did because she looked like Diana immediately. But
Yeah.
then the Japanese thingy of having a final boss, which is the negative version of yourself,
yeah.
kind of clicked into my mind. And it
Yeah,
went
like
yeah,
I was like at I did not really trust 8 at all. Basically, I was like, I don't
so
know
you don't
about
like
this.
numbers and you don't like doors. That's why I
Yeah.
understand from you. Dennis.
I did like 8 as a character though. I thought it was cool. I thought it was at least somebody that Diana could bounce off that wasn't just Hugh, and it gave Diana a lot of conflict, which I really enjoyed.
I like
Um,
that part. I don't like another
And
part
we're
of
gonna
the
touch on
character.
that probably in
Yeah.
talking about what this game says about AI, right?
Which let's I guess streamline a little bit if you don't mind, y'all. Let's get through the
Sure.
bullshit.
So skipping past the tear dome, where we go to the Luna mines next, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. Which
How do we
this is
feel
my
about this
favorite section. I love it. Love the gravity twists and stuff.
The big
And
worm.
again, at this point, I was like getting invested in the story, so I was like, "All right, cool. This game rules."
This is where in like all the documents and stuff, you start getting introduced to the idea of experimental pragmatics, and you start to learn like a little bit of Diana's origins.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Higgins, and what he's doing.
Oh yeah, Dr. Higgins was kind of cool, like as a character that you don't really see in the game.
Kind of cool as a character. I didn't find. I thought it was kind of contrived and just like a little like ham-fisted of like we don't see anything about this character other than just a hologram. I don't like the way they presented this side of the story in the late game, where everything is told to you through these like holographic projections. I kind of wish
I don't mind.
I kind of wish these games were just a little more cutscene heavy.
I think they could have done some of the holograms in more like more of like more detailed, more kind of directed cutscene kind of style. Like I don't think the holograms is the issue. I think the issue is more that there's some quite important scenes that are just kind of animation library situations.
I don't know. I disagree. We can get to it whenever we get there, but well, okay, maybe on the parts that y'all are talking about, the parts that I'm mostly referring to is, I guess, an experimental pragmatics where you really get deeper into the holograms and the story. And
what are the advancements in the story, specifically in the Luna mines?
You kind of find out
you're resetting Edis, right?
Yeah, Edis.
Is the idea here.
Yeah, so this is where we learn,
which we haven't really touched on.
Yeah, so this is where we learn that Edis is actually controlled by 8.
Which is Edis controlled by 8 even while 8 is tied up?
I think she.
Well,
she
not
starts
technically
controlling it later.
Not technically, but we do learn in one of the holograms in Central Port. What is it called? Is it Central Port?
Yeah, the last part. Yeah.
Yeah, we learn in one of the holograms there that Edis reports to 8 that the employees are like 80% likely to revolt against you or something like that, and she says then eliminate them. And that's why Edis has attacked all the people, including Hugh.
I think Edis does operate independently, though.
So
I mean,
yes,
even whenever
basically
eight's disposed of.
exactly. So essentially, Edis is operating independently based on an order given by 8 earlier in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then we reboot Edis, and 8 gets a haircut. And for some reason,
Wait, was that not her
and-
hair?
I think it was her hair. It's just that it's white now.
I didn't even notice the hair change. I just thought
there's a
that was-
cosmetic there's a cosmetic change from the Terradome to the
Interesting.
Luna Mines when we see 8 again. And I'm
Didn't
not
even
sure what
notice it.
she's edgy now. She's dark and she's edgy now, and she's
Yeah.
shooting little pieces of dead filament at us.
And
Uh,
here is where one of the dumbest narrative choices are made, which is that Hugh gets hit by one of the dead filament arrow thingamajigs and never tells Diana about it. And like
that's at the end of Sector 5, right?
he gets hit here, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Or no,
Yeah,
or
that's
does he
after
get
after you reboot.
No, this
Edis.
is where this is where Diana gets attacked, and she
Yeah, but
loses
I thought they
a-
both
an
got
arm
hit.
and a leg.
hit, or does he get hit in the experimental pragmatic
He gets
section?
hit. He gets hit in the experimental pragmatic section when he's fighting Sentinel, right?
Oh yeah, when he's protecting her when she's rebooting.
When she's getting rebooted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Right. No, that's right. Should we get to the experimental
Let's go,
pragmatic?
because this is my favorite
Yeah.
section of the game because it's the most story heavy.
Yeah.
How did
This
y'all
is
feel
some
about it?
Midness Lament situation right
no,
here.
This is what I meant by like I love the Higgins reveals, and I love that it's done the way it is, the holograms, because you're literally Hugh carrying Diana like frantically wanting to like save her basically, and you kind of get to experience the origin and kind of the reasoning behind like Eight's motive as well as like finding out about Diana's backstory and seeing that like she was just kind of a failed plan to bring back, or save Higgins' daughter or whatever. I thought all that was done really well. And like I kind of disagree. I think Higgins is an interesting character, especially because we don't see him. And like I think I buy all the motives, and like it is kind of heartbreaking to see Diana see that unfold and being like, oh shit, I don't even have a purpose. And it's like this small child burdened with such a weight that heavy is like already just like soul crushing. And then like again, you're doing that through the eye of like Hugh trying to rescue her at the same time, seeing her struggle through that lens. I don't know. I thought it was extremely effective.
I think I don't remember if I think this is at the end of this section, but I think the one of the big mistakes that they do narratively here is that how Daisy dies. Basically,
yeah,
like so
yeah.
they reveal that Higgins didn't accidentally kill Daisy, or Daisy didn't die by illness. What happened is that someone at the Delphi Corporation back on Earth wanted to take credit for Dr. Higgins' research and basically fast-tracked human testing for the treatment.
The artificial organ
And
stuff, right?
what do you say?
It's like they're working on like artificial organs, right?
Yeah.
With the Lunum.
And basically like they fast track human testing with someone who is similar to Daisy, but then it turns out it's like, oh no, we did it on Daisy and she died. It's like that is so like, and it's not that that's that like series of events is entirely bad in itself. It's just how the game presents it, because I think it is entirely possible that they could have done it so, okay, Guy wants human testing to be done, but not on Daisy. Human testing is done, and then afterwards it's like, oh no, we did it on Daisy. Instead, what it could have done is the same situation. Guy wants it done, but not on Daisy. And then human testing is done, and then later it's revealed that the guy who did the testing thought that he said to do it on Daisy. So it's like a misunderstanding situation. Instead, it just feels like straight up stupidity instead of a misunderstanding, which I think would have been a much more innocent and genuine mistake in this situation than what comes out here instead. And it just feels like the entire situation is very forced.
I don't know. I kind of maybe understood it, or I guess I just kind of filled in my own blanks there. But Higgins like straight up like screams like, I told them to do this and they didn't listen. It felt very like shady backstabby to me or something like weird.
He says I told them it wouldn't work, but he did it anyway. Something like that.
Yeah. It just felt like more of like, nah, fuck the doctor. We're going to do our own thing. More as like a slight to him, which in turn makes more sense why he would be like way more vengeful and whatnot, and why 8 would actually turn heel so much.
I should also say that I still, even though I think this situation could have been fixed by like a very small tweak in how it's presented, I still think it is kind of stupid. This whole thing, like, I think it would have been,
this whole game's so stupid.
I think it would have been better if she just died of her illness because he wasn't able to do it in time.
Yeah.
But also, isn't this explanation of what happened to Daisy is told to us in a completely missable like log file that you find on a desk on a computer. This is dumb. This is this is bad story writing, and it's just like, hey, this like mystery company Delphi has like this dude on Earth that secretly wants to go against Dr. Higgins, a character we never see alive. We don't see any like actual evidence of misdeeds from the company. Like, and I don't know, everything is just told in a way that doesn't make sense and doesn't feel earned. Like, and that's say, my entire nothing in this game feels earned.
I would say I do think we do see evidence of like misdeeds from the company, because especially during the Luna mine section, it is very clear that the mining that they're doing is illegal. They're not allowed to do that. And I also think that, and this kind of goes into a little bit about my argument about what does this game say about AI, or like modern society in general. The game is extremely heavy on condemning how companies track their employees. And like, I think the game, basically, like, essentially every document you read in this game is about how the employees don't like how much Delphi is tracking them with their AI. And that gives me a lot of like vibes of like how Meta just announced that they're gonna have like a situation where you can't even opt out of an AI being trained on your work when you're working at Meta.
Yeah,
which is just like, and nobody likes that. I mean, setting up Meta as the villain of your story is just kind of okay. Yeah, that works.
Like to both your points, I kind of somewhere in the middle. To me, it just felt like just generic environmental storytelling that video games just do. Like,
but this is not environmental story.
It's the main crux of the story.
This is the main element.
No, more about like the illegal mining. It's like that's not integral to the story. Like,
no, that was like,
but
more
it's not about the illegal mining.
Like, well, I mean, you don't need to know why Daisy dies for the story. It's not really.
You do though. You need to know why Dr. Higgins turned vengeful.
Everything that happened on this station, like the core narrative thread of this game is what happened on this station. We have to get out of here. And the core, like the inciting incident of this game is Daisy dying. That is why
100%.
this entire
You
situation
don't need
happens.
to know
That is
how or
why
why.
Hugh
Like, you need to,
and his
you
plot-
can put that together
plot
with the
element
environmental
friends-
storytelling.
The reason why Hugh and his friends are sent to the moon in the first place is because the moon, they can get no contact for anybody on the moon. And why does that happen? Because Daisy died. This all stems from Daisy dying.
I mean,
and how she died, not just because she died, because if she had just died from the disease, there's no reason for Higgins to be vengeful, for 8 to go on this warpath and murder everybody.
That's what I
the
mean, though.
fact that Daisy dies in the way she does, and it's told to you on a computer on a random desk in their office, you could completely miss it.
Yeah.
Like,
you can miss that, but you can
it's
also, if
bad
that's not
storytelling.
seen, that's not. If you don't see that, you can put 1 + 1 together still and say, I guess it didn't work out for the doctor's daughter. Like, that's
being
like,
able to piece it.
I don't
being able to
think.
piece it together doesn't make it good. It doesn't make it good
Yeah.
storytelling.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not good storytelling
Dude,
whenever you find out what it was.
Curly. This is like saying that putting the fact that Ellie is immune in The Last of Us in a random document in the game.
That's nothing like
It is
this
the
at all.
same. It is the same
I
thing because that's
100%
the
agree with you.
inciting.
Disagree. 100% disagree.
It's the inciting incident of the
It's not
story.
like that at all, because like you still get every piece that you need to fit the story together without needing to know the specifics of how she dies. Like, that doesn't
Better yet,
add.
Better yet, and spoilers for Last of Us Part 2, but this would be like finding out that Joel murdered Abby's father on a piece of paper in The Last of Us 2. That's exactly what that is.
It is
Instead
the
of telling
same
us
thing.
like that's how that
The
happened.
only
It's the same
difference,
thing.
Not.
the only difference is that it happens at a different point in the game.
You see, Curly, it's for people like Dennis and Ryan that things like Palpatine somehow returned happens.
Yes. It's like, I don't know.
Clearly.
I guess I can
No,
use a little more
that's
subtlety
just-
in some
that-
things
no.
in storytelling. Like, I don't
No.
need
No,
everything.
you needed a good reason for Palpatine to return. You
There
needed
is
good reason.
there is a massive gap between what Ryan and I are saying and the whole idea that a Netflix show needs to constantly remind you about the plot elements of the show because people are watching it while looking at their phones. Like, there is
I'm
a
sure it's the same thing.
massive gap between those two.
You could imagine, like, you understood immediately that something went wrong as
Okay,
soon as
look,
one
that's what I'm
hologram
saying.
started
I'm
about
gonna-
him trying to experiment on his daughter.
I'm gonna go at it from a different perspective. Imagine if there was a scene added into the story. The scene is this executive or this other guy that wants to take credit for Dr. Higgins's work. He calls Dr. Higgins and has to explain what happened. This would be like an extremely emotional and pivotal scene. And it could display a lot of different themes throughout the game. First of all, this guy could be incredibly corporate about it and very not emotional about it because he is not invested in this. He just wanted to take credit. And that could enhance a lot of the narrative elements that we do see in a lot of the documents, which is the whole like corporate nature of Delphi and all this stuff. And it would also show front and center in a scene the beginning of the emotional breakdown of Dr. Higgins. Like, this scene is something that had to be here and is instead a document. Like, this is a pivotal moment in the story, and it's just a document. And this could have been one of the best scenes in the game.
And let me be clear. The idea that someone at Delphi went rogue and killed Higgins' daughter is not a good explanation for the reason that all of these things transpired. It's not good storytelling, even if that is the reason, and even if they show it. But the fact that they don't show it, and it's the pivotal thing that makes Higgins turn heel and sick 8 on everybody, is bad. It's really bad.
I disagree.
I would also argue that this is not actually what Higgins wanted to happen.
No, exactly.
Is it?
No, he says, like, in his final moments, he says, curse Earth and
Let
curse
them know my
Delphi.
suffering or something like
Let
that.
them know my suffering or something like that. And I think
8 completely misinterprets.
and 8 misunderstands that as, like, I have to kill everyone.
What else
very
is he supposed to
AI,
mean there?
like
Curse Earth and curse Delphi, let everyone know my suffering. What else is he supposed to mean there?
I do think it is a little. At the same time, he was just dying. He was very emotional.
Also found out about his daughter.
I think it.
Well, but
I don't
you're
think
saying
that
there's another.
translates to
Hold on.
please negative filaments kill everyone. Like it's not
Yeah.
really what he was saying necessarily.
So again, that's more evidence of bad writing because what else are we supposed to infer?
No, I
there?
don't
Or
think.
is
I
eight sup-
don't think it is bad writing. I think it is. It is just like basically. 8 has one interpretation of what he said, and Diana has another interpretation of what he said. Because Diana reads what he said. Diana and Hugh, I would say. Hugh a little less, but like Diana reads what he said more based on his character than the actual words that he uses, while 8 reads what he said based on explicitly on what he said and not on his character.
what is Diana's interpretation of what he says? Because I don't remember that.
Well,
I don't
Diana's
recall this.
there is a point where when you run toward
They
the
literally say, like, do you think this is what Higgins really wanted?
yeah,
They have a conversation.
it's while you're climbing up like the final stretch toward the boss
Right, but
fight.
she doesn't give it. So I remember the part you're talking about. She doesn't give an interpretation. She just says the doctor that I knew wouldn't want this.
Yeah,
And
I mean
all
that's
he
what I'm
says is
saying. Like
but
that's
she-
an interpretation.
but that's an interpretation. The interpretation that she is making is based on his character instead of the words that he said, while 8 makes an interpretation based on the words that he said and not on his character.
my interpretation of that back and forth between her and Hugh is saying like remember the person who he was, the person who he was when you were with him, and that and just go with that. Ignore everything else.
I do think
Because
that
that's all that matters is who he was with you.
Well, I think what he was saying in that scene is really weird. I think what he should have said, he should have said something more along the lines of, I think he should have been less in the middle and more in agreement to Diana, because we, as players, have seen everything that Hugh has seen about Dr. Higgins, and I think everyone who has experienced what we've seen there would be more leaning more towards Diana than 8. Even if you take everything that you've seen to show that Higgins is not as good of a person as Diana believes he is, you would still lean more towards Diana in this situation, because Diana's situation does not lead to genocide of an entire planet.
But we also have evidence. We also have evidence of Dr. Higgins not being this wholly virtuous person as well. He
No,
completely
but
threw
yes,
the first
yes,
six
but
versions
what
of
I'm
that- of
what I'm
that
saying,
away.
what I'm saying is that we have one interpretation, which is a good one, possibly too good, but it doesn't lead to genocide, and we have another one, which is very bad, and it leads to genocide, and Hugh is placing himself entirely squarely in the middle. Which is like, you should be, and considering you are also on the side that is trying to stop 8, you shouldn't be in the middle. You should be on Diana's side in this situation, which is why I think that line is so weird. Because you are both going on your way to take out 8. So why are you in the middle on this? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, we'll agree to disagree on this one. I think it's poor, but we'll move on. So we're in the central port. What were we at narratively?
I mean, we've just,
I don't
a lot of this just kind of
I
gets
just
revealed.
saw Enrico change his name to Lovers of Doors.
all of this kind of takes place during experimental pragmatics and the central port. So I think we're just kind of in this area right now.
Yeah.
I think we can talk about
fair.
everything that happens on everything that happens excluding the ending itself, I would say. We'll
Okay.
move to
Yeah,
that
so
later.
Hugh brings damaged Diana, heals her up, apparently gets scuffed up by the 2-sword dope guy. And then I don't remember beat for beat what happened after that.
Yeah.
Diana gets the ability to erase the dead
Okay.
filament. Or
So
the poop.
here's one of my biggest issues with this story. He gets hit by the dead filament in his what's called like abdomen or whatever.
Mhm.
He could have just told Diana, because he asks Diana later if she can remove this from humans, and she says that would also remove the tissue. And I would argue with the medical tech that they have on this station, which is like he could just walk through a little zone and be fully healed. I would say that she should be able to just straight up remove the tissue in his abdomen which has been infected and be healed.
I thought that she said that no, once the cells have been killed,
Damage
there's
is
no
too
bringing
far,
them back. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets too far after a while, but like if he had told her when he gets hit, and after she gets the ability,
Man, you've
she
really
says
never taken a hit as a dad. You're just gonna
she
tough
says
it out, bro.
Yeah.
One.
Also-
and second, he knows that would shift her attention towards a thing that's not as important for him at that point. Like he has
Also,
to save
I-
Earth to save it for Diana, and that's it. Like he
well,
doesn't
I
care
have
about
a
himself.
whole other thing about that when we get to the ending. But
Well, some considerable time passes between him taking the hit and then him asking Diana that question as well.
Yeah.
well,
Like you
okay, so
see
here's
during
another
the fight, it like kind of come over his face a little bit.
here's another here's another like weird situation where it's like you can get a line in the shelter where he asks about the dead filament. Like if you get from experimental pragmatics, if you talk to Diana a bunch, he will ask her about the dead filament, and then in the story in Central Port, he will ask again. Because they know
And
that
we
this
also-
line
really
in the
no
shelter
coming
is
back, huh?
missable.
We also switched the order of things, I think, because she gets wounded before he does.
Right.
Yeah, this is after she's revived that he gets stabbed or whatever.
Yeah.
It's while he's fighting the thingy with Diana
Sentinel.
in the system, in the thingy. So I mean, he also has other, another thing to think.
Yeah, his
Of-
brain was
yeah.
on her getting healed and like
Yeah,
revived. Like he wasn't necessarily in the moment.
emergency
like,
mode.
I need a doctor.
Who?
But yeah,
Just out of curiosity, who else saw the inclusion of the dead filament in section 5 and was me like, here comes the giant goo monster?
When they first introduced the dead filament, I was like, oh, here's the fucking bullshit that's gonna lead to the end of
Isn't
this game.
camera like 360 pixels right now? Are y'all seeing that?
What?
Yeah, it's the dead filament.
Dennis's camera dropped to like 240p for me.
Oh,
I don't know why.
okay. Your all looks normal on my end, but yeah. Do we wanna anything else in the Central Port? Do we want to talk about, or experimental pragmatics?
I mean, I personally liked I'm completely polar opposite on you. I really liked like the conversations that he subtly has where he's like, about this dead filament. What do you know about it? like purposefully not wanting to worry her, but like pushing forward. And like I love the moments where he's like, maybe this is even further past, but he's just like, anything to get her home. Like I'll do whatever it takes and all that,
Yeah.
while you like see him limping and like trying to cover that up and act normal. I thought that was great. I love that part.
I think
I
it
love
would
that
have
he never
been.
tells her.
I think it would have been great in almost any other story, but I have a very specific reason as to why I don't think it works here.
Does it have to do with doors?
No, it does not have to do with
When
doors.
he's
Rico is
when
so
he
fed up.
unmasks himself, when he removes the door from his face and she
Mm.
sees it, that's such a good moment, bro. It's such a good moment.
Yeah. So do we want to just talk about the ending now, or do we want to talk about the fight with 8 first? And
This fight's
also,
awesome.
Yeah,
also,
both,
I mean,
both
the
final fights are awesome.
yeah, the dead filament fight as well.
Bro, when he gets the fucking flying suit or whatever the fuck that was awesome.
The
The
Giga cannon.
pivot,
Yeah.
the pivot from like this very like grounded like escape, this like haunted space station or whatever, like to just full on anime. At the
You're
end with
reminded
a-
that it's Capcom, though.
Yeah.
It's just it's really good.
I liked both fights a lot.
It's basically the Nemesis all over again.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about the ending, I guess.
Yeah. So should I just go into my whole thing about the ending of this game?
Well, let's talk about let's talk about what's good about the ending before we trash it.
All right. So
I already said my piece. I love the scene of him putting her in the thing and be like, "Oh, hold on, I just got to push the thing," and she's just like, "You sound like you're having trouble." He's like, "Oh, it's a heavy little booger," and like, man, the entire time I'm like already emotionally just like welling up because I know what's gonna happen. I already knew what was gonna happen when he first got hit. But
it's a trope, but it always works for me as well.
Yeah, no,
Like,
it was
always.
Armageddon. Like it's like guy's gonna sacrifice himself to let the small child live, and it's a tale's old time, and every time it's gonna fucking get me. And again, the reveal of him taking the mask off and she sees the thing and she realizes it, and she's when the shuttle takes off and you see her silently screaming, I was like, I bawled a little bit, man.
I
was
liked that they
crying, man.
did that silently, actually. I think that
I loved it.
That was more impactful.
And like say what you will about this wet blanket motherfucker, but I legitimately cared at the end. I was sad.
No,
like, I was.
Well, I didn't care.
I
didn't
should
care
also
about
say
him,
I was
but
also
like
sad.
I cared about the dynamic.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think,
and
I
let's
think the
agree that
moment
what
was
he
done
did was
well.
incredibly selfish in a way. Like, you're protecting Diana, but you're also depriving her of you, which is incredibly selfish.
I want to clarify that I think everything here in the ending is done well. My entire issue with it is the logistics of sending her to Earth, which just doesn't make any sense to
I'm
any
with
extent.
you on that, bro.
like let's talk about what happens when she gets to Earth. A planet where human-looking robots are outlawed. Like, that is just straight up illegal. Like, without Hugh there to protect her, she has no future. She also charges.
Oh my god, my vacuum just scared the shit out of me.
She also charges.
The robots are attacking.
Can that be the title of the episode? My vacuum scared the shit out of me.
She also charges from wireless chargers on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And that's presumably
it's not the only way she charges, though, and she says that.
How else does she charge?
It's I don't remember what, but she says that like the floor thing is just to like when you keep your MacBook connected to the power, basically. Like, it's continuous charging, but she charges in another way. I don't remember.
I don't think she says she charges. She just says her battery lasts for a while.
Yeah, something like that. But
basically she charges.
She's gonna get murked on that beach by the government.
I mean, yeah, so let's go through the logistics here. So she charges through presumably some proprietary wireless charging floor that's on the moon, which she presumably would be very hard to acquire at some point on Earth, unless this is some form of standardized technology at this point, which I would allow. I would allow a situation where that is true. But
he'll allow it.
Yeah, it's still a weird situation. The other thing is they definitely have a tracker on her. Like, they're definitely Delphi.
It's not even a tracker. There was a shuttle from space.
There was First of all, there was they definitely have a tracker in the shuttle, because otherwise, how would they? Because this shuttle is clearly designed to crash into the ocean and then be then Delphi would go and get the people in the cargo in the thing. So there's definitely a tracker on that.
That's not meant to be a shuttle, though.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said or cargo.
Oh, right.
That's why I said or cargo. So they definitely have a tracker in the shuttle. They definitely have a tracker on Diana herself, which means that unless Hugh is there with him, or Hugh gives responsibility of Diana to someone else, which he doesn't, Diana has no future on this planet. So
But it's still
we
a better
go
future
through-
than what she
Also-
has on the moon.
yeah,
That's the whole thing.
we
he also
go
has
through.
she has no future on the moon either. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, but basically what I'm saying is that Hugh goes through all this stuff to sacrifice himself to send her to a future that doesn't exist for her. Like this is my entire why. And even though I think, as I said, I think the ending is done well, like they do, all the points are hit perfectly in this moment, in the last moments of the game. It's just that the next steps don't make any sense. It falls on it. It just rings hollow.
You have
I
to
mean, the next
approach
game
it.
could.
Go, Ryan.
Sorry, Enrico. No, go ahead, Enrico. Sorry.
You have to approach it, and I know I might be in the minority here because I know I am in various work chats, but you have to approach it through a Kojima lens in a way. It's not like logic, it's emotionally logic. So the idea is that you either die alone on the moon between like amongst the killer robots, or you die on a beach that you wanted to see a real beach for your probably most of your existence with you. So he's perfectly knowledgeable of the fact that she might not have a future on Earth and whatever. And again, he's very selfish because she wanted to see the beach with him. She did not want to see the beach, period. But that's the whole thing. Like emotionally, it makes more sense than it does logically. Because emotionally, you are sacrificing yourself for giving her even a glimpse or whatever she wanted from her life or existence at this point, which is, you crash on the beach, you see the beach, and you're fine. Like, that's it. If she has a future, even better. But like, what would be your logical solution to that? Because the other solution would be to leave her on the moon. Like, it's option A or option B.
I have two solutions. One would change the story quite a bit, and the other, I think, not so much. I think the more drastic one is that when 8 loses, she would have a turn, realize that Diana and Hugh are right, and there would be some fucking Deus Ex Machina situation that heals Hugh, which is not above any other Capcom game. Which is exactly what happens in vaguely the last Resident Evil game. So like that could be a completely viable moment, and that would still lead to the ending of the game where you fight the dead filament, because the dead filament goes rogue without 8. The other situation is that Hugh goes with Diana to Earth, and when they are on the beach, that's when he reveals that he is dying. But this allows Hugh to actually contact his adopted parents and take over responsibility of Diana, or literally anyone he knows. And then you would basically end on, you don't even have to end on a scene where Diana meets them. You just need to know that there's someone there for her and someone there to protect her. And that's all.
That's the point, though. She says, "I am ready" at the end. At a point in which they're basically implying that she can take care of herself, even if you don't think so, but she thinks so.
That's actually a translation thing. So I don't know if, so she says, I'm ready in English. In Japanese, she says, I'll be waiting.
That's a gross mistranslation. Okay.
It's a pretty gross mistranslation. Do we want to talk about the secret ending? I know Curly and
I actually haven't seen
I didn't want to
ending.
spoil it because I didn't know like who actually saw it amongst you.
I haven't seen it.
I'm gonna watch.
No, it's nothing big. It's like a
it's not even a
sentence
scene.
in the darkness.
Wait, what?
There's nothing to see.
Yeah, there's literally nothing to see.
I'm just gonna.
It's effectively a 3 or 4 hour additional gameplay for like a line of dialogue.
Okay, so what is the?
So when you finish the game, you get the what is it? The mysterious signal, right?
Unknown signal.
The unknown signal. In approaching that, you have access to a room with more challenges, like VR challenges in a way, that are very, very nice, very, very fine mechanically and such. And when you do that, when you finish that, you get access to a thingamajig that you finish the game again with on you. It's like a node, right? It's like a mod or a node or something.
Black box or something.
A
like
black
that,
box node or mod. You finish the game again, and that it's written in the description of the object. You basically Hugh has a chance of surviving because the thing that he finds in the room, in the secret room, has the ability to kind of cure that filament in a way. So he speaks like you hear, I think, Cabin at the end in the darkness saying like Hugh, welcome back or something. After everything happens, so after Diana crashes on the beach and everything, so it's hinted at with that ending, which is supposed to be the true one, that he survived he's able at least to survive that filament.
I think Cabin says something to the effect of like, "Oh, you're back. Oh, you're alone this time."
Yeah.
So why doesn't he go with her? If he has
but
cure.
it's later.
There's no room. There's no room in the cargo ship. That's it. This is Titanic, man. There's no room on the door.
What, they don't have two of them?
He's big, dude. He can't fit in there.
Yeah.
All right. I do think, I don't know how I feel about this being a secret ending, but I do think that this does fix the issue. It does fix the story to some extent.
I don't like that.
I don't mind it being the ending because I like the idea that we can set up a sequel with the two being reunited. But the fact that this is hidden behind an additional, like, you have to 100% the game to get this item. So like you have to go get back and get every single collectible in order to get this mod. The fact that they hide this behind what is effectively another 4 or 5 hours of gameplay is kind of nuts.
I gotta say, but that's my whole point in for much of the endings, especially of video games, but sometimes of movies. I appreciate endings that are not perfect, like inherently flawed, because they make me discuss things with people like you, for example, and see, I would have done that differently. I would rather have that, like an imperfect ending that I probably don't like or I don't find logical or things like that, that gives me something, leaves me with something, even if that's an internal discussion as to what I witnessed, than a perfect bow or a perfect ending that I have nothing against.
Strongly agree with that. I would rather have an absolutely perfect ending. I feel like, wow, that was perfect. Of course, the conversation is fun, and I think one of the most fun things about like bad video games is to talk about how you can fix them. This is not a bad video game, of course, but like I think I prefer having a perfect game than sitting there like.
Then we're gonna do Mind's Eye next after Sarah's.
Hell no.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm probably the highest on the ending personally. I think it's beautiful. I love the ending.
Again, like I think
I don't like the secret ending. I don't like that at all. I think it takes away from that
a little bit.
moment.
Yeah.
I think the secret ending fixes the story. Fixes my issues with the story. So
you see.
I mean, I just disagree. I think exactly what Enrico said. Like, Hugh's not really worried about the long term of it. He's just trying to fulfill a promise, and
he still does that.
In the end, he is more focused on you're going to get that one thing that you wanted. I don't know if you're going to survive beyond that, but at the same time, he's still fulfilling that promise. And I don't know. I think it's way more emotionally impactful than him just coming back and Kevin being like, "Yeah, what's up, Doc?" He's like, "Hey, I'm good, actually."
Oh man, that's a hell of a way of paraphrasing what probably actually happened. What up, dude? Let's party.
Hey.
I think it's
That
also
kid is gone. I got no kids, no responsibilities. Let's go.
fuck that kid. I think that that's also you kind of let's say trust the system in a way, because the fact that he was adopted speaks to that a little bit for me, at least emotionally. Like he says,
that's an interesting
things
take,
will be
yeah.
fine in a way. Life will find a way, as someone would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I I think there in life there are systems in place for orphan children. There's not a system in place
Bro,
for
if
a
Stuart Little can
robot,
get a fucking home,
for
this
a
robot
one of a
can.
kind robot.
You also should ask yourself,
In a
like,
world, by the way, where people don't like AI, which is this world. People do not like the station AI. People do not like Edis. So this is
But
a
see,
world
I
where
think
people don't like AI.
that creates more intrigue for a potential sequel to me, because like in this ending, that's this beautifully cinematic ending, which you can choose to be your ending. You don't have to go for the secret ending.
Yeah.
But in this more secret ending, you have the idea of, well, she is alone on this earth. She does have to find her way, and Hugh is now still stranded on this moon station, so he has to find a way back, and he has to find out a way to figure out what's going on with Diana. So what happens going forward, I think, is far more intriguing now, because if this is just she's on Earth, you don't really need a sequel there. Like, the story's told, and whatever happens to Diana is just up for interpretation.
Yeah.
Nothing good happens to Diana right here.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the government
know
was
that.
pulling up. The
But I
government
don't
was
think they
pulling
know
up
about her. Like,
after
did
that.
anybody-
But the
Bro, that cargo
But the-
ship set off some
the
alerts. I
government could have
swear.
pulled up. But here's the thing: the government could have pulled up on a cargo ship that's completely empty because she's gone.
Yeah. And I don't think they know about Diana
And
and
they
Age
would
and
have-
whatever. Like, they
Yeah,
don't know
but they
half of the
would-
things that Higgins was doing.
And they would have seen like the fucking footsteps coming out of the
Nah, man.
Coming
She
out
wasn't
of the
covering those
shell.
footsteps up very well.
The waves washed those footsteps away, dude.
You're applying
Figure it.
logic to a game that apparently not based in logic, but it's based on.
But also, with the secret ending, with Hugh being alive, the idea of Diana's captured by the government or by Delphi, and now Hugh has to figure out a way to rescue her. That's an interesting storyline for a potential sequel.
Yeah, I just don't know how you do that not being in space and doing cool shit.
That's
Another
is
planet,
or maybe
another protagonist.
maybe
Yeah.
it's a reverse situation where Diana is very capable now after her adventure with Hugh, and she's trying to figure out a way to get back to the moon because she
Yeah.
gets an unknown signal saying that he's still up there, that he still needs help.
Yeah,
I
I
would-
should
I
a
would
lot of
love
my
more Diana Hugh adventures, but like I also don't want it to take away from the ending here. I don't actually want this to be a franchise, if I'm being honest.
Oh, I think
I
there's no chance it's not going to be.
I should also note that I do think that a lot of the issues can be fixed with a sequel. But I kind of go from the perspective that this is a standalone story, and I don't think there will be a
same.
sequel.
Really, I fully expect especially with the secret ending, this is going to be a franchise for Capcom.
I also don't think that even if there is a sequel, I don't think there is definitive proof that the sequel is going to follow this story, because I mean you got something like Resident Evil, where they just like don't care about following the story most of the time, and then you got like
Sure.
Monster Hunter, which basically soft reboots itself with every entry.
I think the fact that they hide a secret ending behind an additional 3 or 4 hours of gameplay that definitively sets up a sequel is enough evidence to point at the fact that they're going to follow this story
Well,
line a little further.
I would also say that basically every Resident Evil game under the sun ends with a "let's destroy Umbrella," and they never do.
I just need the narrative hints that Pragmata and all the Resident Evil games are happening in the same universe. That's the only thing I need.
Oh man, she crash lands on Earth and a zombie eats her. That sucks.
I don't want to go off topic, but I've discussed this with other friends in the past, and I would like to see Resident Evil approach AI as well, just to have that kind of double danger in a way. because it's very zombie and virus and biologically oriented. It's not tech oriented as much, even though Mr. X and such are
Umbrella.
tech.
Yeah.
But it would be nice. I don't imagine a sequel as like either. As I said before, it started out, even though it has a budget, I think of 200 million, 250 million or something. It started out as a junior project, like as a let's experiment with the engine and let's experiment with our younger devs. It went well because did it sell 2 million or am I wrong? I know
over 1 million units globally in just 2 days.
Okay,
Money talks. I feel like if people are buying this game, they're
Yeah. I mean, like I said in the beginning, I would love more adventures with these two, but like,
yeah.
I hope it just does it well,
Yeah.
figures it out.
Sure.
So let's go into.
I think there's a lot of room to fix the wet blanket that is Hue in a potential sequel, to where it retroactively fixes the first
It'll
game.
be a dry blanket this time.
I'd have to go to the beach.
That's true.
So I asked you guys like about a week ago. This was before I finished the game. To all mull over the question of what do you think Pragmata says about AI? Or what does Pragmata say about AI?
I'm gonna start it because I think I have the softest and lightest interpretation of it. But in Diana and Eight's differences, and in the way, especially they understand Higgins's words differently, like Higgins's final words differently. I don't think Pragmata is saying anything new. It's just finding new ways to say it. With especially saying, AI is just a tool. It's just a hammer. It depends on who uses it in a way, and less about. I don't think it's saying much about how we should use AI or the shortcomings of AI and such. I think it's speaking more about the human side of it, which is kind of the issue nowadays as well. Like, with AI bringing people to analyze themselves and stuff like that. I think nowadays when we talk about AI, we're always kind of missing the human side of it. The fact that they're trained on us, on our content. Sometimes they're trained on us specifically and such like that. And I think Pragmata just says, it depends on who uses the tool, and not as much as it doesn't speak about the tool itself in a way. At least that's what I read of it. But again, I'm more of an emotional guy and less of a logic guy. So
Brian?
I didn't really dig too deep into this, like the concept of what Pragmata is trying to say about AI too much. And this game feels pretty surface level. I don't feel like there's too much like nuance to like their like a meaning behind the narrative or the story. I echo what Enrico says. Maybe the idea of like that AI is a tool to be used however humans choose to use it, but also, AI could be an adorable little 6-year-old girl. So maybe stop hating on it so much. I don't know, man. Like, there's a cool like is it Twitter or X thread where it's being run by. Did you post that? They had Diana running the person posting.
Oh,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
It was a cool use of it. But I didn't really think too deeply behind like the messaging of the game. I didn't feel like there was much of one, to be honest.
The one thing that I appreciated, though, now that I hear you talking about it, is that Pragmata almost presents all aspects of the issue in talking about AI and tech and AI tech. Because on one side you have 8, right, which is bad AI, but you also have Diana, which is kind of good AI, and then you have what was the second area called, the fake Times Square area called, like it's saying, yeah, that one. AI is able to recreate reality, but it's always missing a soul. It's always missing something. It's not 100% what reality is. It's always an interpretation of reality. So it's kind of soulless. But then again, you have Diana, which is AI, but with a soul, with an empty one, with a completely empty soul, but it's still a soul. So it's like they're presenting every single aspect of the issue and just letting you pick and choose whatever you feel it's the theme or it's the opinion of the game. And that I appreciate it a lot because, probably less, let's say it's a brave narrative. It's not a brave narrative, but less brave narrative designers would have just said, AI is bad and that's it. But this is a much more, not as much as I would have liked it to be, but it's a little bit more structured than that. Because it speaks of basically AI generation, but it says, you can do really bad things with it. You can do things that are lifelike, but not really life-full. And then you can have something like Diana. So you have the whole spectrum, basically, of things you can do with AI. Ideally, I would say.
A little off topic from this, but so to the posts thing, there was a content creator along with the Diana thing running their social media, where it was unfortunately, Capcom has been accused of using AI art in Pragmata, and it's all of the pictures that Diana gives to you.
That's awesome.
AI slop.
I kind of went into this trying to get a good read and interpretation of what they're trying to say, and it's a little bit difficult, but I kind of came away with a few different points on it. One, kind of to echo what you guys are saying of the AI is good, the AI is bad, but honestly, I kind of took away that if it is trying to say anything, it's basically about the human condition side of AI and what we're feeding the machine, essentially, because AI isn't bad. The things that we're feeding it a lot of time with the content creation, with just the slop, this and that, and the way that we're using it is human. And ultimately, this is going to be our demise. It's all moving so fast, it's all moving so frantically that it's such a dangerous tool to use that is it worth meddling with? I don't know. I mean, there are good things that you can do with it, aka Diana, but inevitably we're going to end up with an 8, and you're going to end up with an Edis. And there's so much negative shit on the internet that we're just feeding the machine, and we're just going to get giant worms that fucking collapse us all. I don't know. Again, it's hard for me to get a clear interpretation of what they're trying to say, because honestly, I wish they would say a little bit more. I kind of appreciate when someone has something to say where it's this, it feels like they're skirting on either side, and it's man, take a stance if you're gonna say something with such heavy implications, but they don't quite reach that level of I don't think this game does social commentary very well, and it really had an opportunity to do so.
But I think it does have a stance in the way that with you collaborating with Diana, so a human collaborating with AI, basically, you're able to overcome everything. You're more powerful than the single parts, basically, and you're able to even fight a very evil AI with the help of that filament and whatever. So there probably is a stance somewhere around there, in saying, again, AI is important, but we're important as well. It should be used as a companion, not as a substitute of what we are. Because when you do that, 8 is the solution of it. Destruct everything on Earth is the outcome of that. AI substituting us.
It's also that tool falls in the wrong hands kind of thing. If Diana didn't find Hugh, if it found somebody else with less of a, I guess, human soul, it's just man, it just falls in the wrong hands. You have such a powerful tool like that, it just can collapse the world. You got Dr. Higgins saying some shit on his deathbed because his daughter just died, and then the AI interprets that as fucking extinction Earth. It's just oh, that escalated so quickly. Goodbye, everybody.
It's the trolley problem, basically. But yeah.
So I think kind of my interpretation was, first of all, I don't think it does say very much. I don't think it has very much to say about AI, and I agree with Curly on the fact that, I mean, yes, this game entered development before ChatGPT
Yeah.
in 2023. But I think like if I were like on this team and we realized that, oh, we're making a game about AI and also coincidentally about the moon a couple of weeks after Artemis.
Yeah, Artemis. Yeah,
um like I would have been like, oh wait, we have an opportunity to be really poignant here. And especially after, and I think some of the things we see in the game are integrations of that. Like I would say that the Times Square part of the game is a commentary on generative AI. I don't know if it is accidentally, if they were just kind of, if this was a part of the game that was there already, and they just kind of ended up being, they were kind of prophetic in that way, or if it was made in response to that. But I think you can definitely see kind of generative AI in that, where it's like, oh, here the AI is supposed to generate New York, and it does so, but it doesn't understand the context of anything in New York. So, like, there are streets on the walls, there are cars in the floor, the same few
The names are
stores.
all off. Yeah.
The same few stores just show up multiple times, some in some like corridors where they just don't make any sense. Like,
Yeah.
so that's one thing. I do think when it comes to AI or bots versus the Pragmata, I think they're actually making a distinction there. And I don't know if this is, I'm just kind of placing my own kind of thoughts on it, but this is at least how I read it. But like, I think the way the game itself does not like AI as it stands today. Like what we today call AI, which is, by the way, not AI. It
Yeah.
is just large language models. It is diffusion models. They're not actually real artificial intelligence. And I think the game is making that distinction intentionally. The station AI, Edis, those are more like the kind of AI systems we have today. And Pragmata are supposed to represent what AI is supposed to be, which is basically just a person, but artificial. And they display the duality of that in both Diana and 8, which is when you have real, true AI, it is just the same thing as having a real, true person. You can have good people and you can have bad people. Or people with good intentions and bad intentions. Like, I would also not go as far as to say 8 is necessarily a bad person. She just kind of misinterprets something from the only the only parental figure she's ever had. So, and then takes that to a completely ridiculous degree, but that's beside the point. And I think all of the kind of documents that you see throughout the game, where again, like as I mentioned earlier, the game does not relent in calling like AI complete shit. Like it just completely keeps saying that over and over again. The game loves to talk about how fragile Luna Filament is, and like how, and that's just like I think the how like replaceable and simple and kind of cheap these kind of prints are. I don't think it's necessarily a commentary on 3D printing itself. I think it's more of a commentary on AI and the state of modern corporatism itself, where it's like everything is made to be cheap, everything is made to be replaceable because it's cheaper to replace something than it is to fix it. And yeah, so I think it has more to do with that. Yeah, I think that's kind of the main I think the main point is the fact that they are distinguishing Pragmata from the other type of AI, which is the AI we have today.
Yeah, I do like that, and they definitely do make that distinction. Like Diana at one point's like, "Oh man, that made me really sad." And he was like, "Sad? Oh, shit, that's wild." Like, you're picking up actual emotions and stuff, and like it is kind of cool seeing that.
And it's nice to appreciate the sort of like material, I would say, journey that Hugh makes Diana experience in a way, because Diana goes from, let's say, not knowing what a beach is to seeing a fake one in the world to then wanting to see one, and Hugh makes sure that she gets to see one, which is kind of a parallel to the New York section, because that's just an AI regurgitating ideas of New York into something that kind of resembles New York. And why did that happen? Because that's Ida's going crazy. But Diana slowly understanding what a beach is, how it looks like, what it feels like to be on a beach, and then wanting to see a beach is because of you. So again, the human element of it is the essential part of it. Like in the end, and that's probably the question I wanted to ask you was, but you kind of already answered, was kind of, do you feel like the developers are kind of optimistic as to where we're going with AI or not? Bear in mind the narrative was basically done at the end of 2020, and I don't think they touched it anymore. So as you said, Dennis, they worked on this narrative wise before ChatGPT, LLMs, and all that. So it's kind of an out of time way of seeing things. But I feel it is somewhat of an optimistic view of this kind of tools in a way, if we're in the equation in any way. If we're not, IDAS is the outcome, as I was saying before.
Yeah, I think the main narrative, as you said, is probably fairly unchanged from the original version of the game. I do think that all of, probably like most of the documents and stuff we see in the game, that was probably changed at some point during the age of AI. Because it feels way too poignant to have been written back then, in my opinion. Like it's way too topical. And like especially like a lot of the like data privacy issues that they point out in the documents, and like the corporate tracking and all this stuff. And sure, like some of that was like starting to be explored in 2020, with like how companies were trying to constantly track what their employees were doing remotely and stuff like that. And of course, systems like that existed before then as well. But I think it became more of a mainstream issue in the last few years. So I think that is something they added later.
Interesting take. I like it.
And as I said in the beginning, like of the AI thing, it's like I don't think the game has that much to say, and I think most of what it says is probably accidental. Apart from like the documents, I think the documents are pretty head on, I would say.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I think I said it at the beginning. This game is just a video game. That's video game. I don't think they're doing much in the way of social commentary. I think it's just, and that's perfectly fine. Like we don't get a lot of those these days. Like a lot of games have a message now, and like just having a video game be a video game and remind you that video games are cool and that you can just have a cool, fun game to play. You don't have to worry about the story too much. I won't. It's nice. It's refreshing.
I also want to just specifically note the Sharon's story, which is the one who makes all the holographic walls.
Oh, yeah.
I think her story specifically is very, very like focused on, and I think even through gameplay, it is like a situation where you see. I think it's a very effective portrayal of how the privacy of your employees gets taken away over time by big corporations. Where it's like she is literally creating walls to hide herself and to be alone. And then over time, the company takes that control away from her and starts spying on her as she does her job to the point where she doesn't want to be there anymore.
All right. Good points, everybody. Do we have any closing things to say before we cut for the night?
No, as you said,
Any,
it's a video game, mechanically very sound. It's a good experiment. It's a fresh take on making a QTE game, basically. Like they removed every QTE ever and just made a video game as QTE video game. Yeah, I mean it's a solid experience. We've said this, I think, in the previous episode of Famipod. I appreciate when big companies take some risks like this, in a way. So you have the main course, which is probably Resident Evil and Monster Hunter and whatever, and then you have smaller teams maybe doing something like this because it's 100. I think it was 100 developers or something. So it is relatively a small team. So please, if any developer, like B developer, is listening to us in this moment, get back to taking risks because it's like if products, if that brings us products like Pragmata, I can't wait for more stuff like this.
Yeah, like look at, and I mean in general, I think everyone should just copy Capcom here. Like the fact that they made this game with like a reasonable budget and it's a new IP, like it doesn't become that risky if you don't spend $3 gazillion on making the game. And also like I think we said this on the last episode of Famipod as well, but like compare I think I compared it to like Dead Space Remake, where it's like Dead Space Remake was essentially a failure for EA. But the reason why is because EA has a terrible reputation and they have not nurtured the Dead Space IP at all, which means that even though you gave people a game they wanted, they had no reason to trust you that it was good. So if they wanted Dead Space Remake to have been a success, they should have given people reason to believe by like for example, like I think if you go back to like the dark era of Metroid, for example, when they announced Metroid Prime Federation Force, that was like a widely hated situation, and that I don't think it had anything to do with the game itself. I mean, we played it on stream. It was like a fine game. I don't think that had anything to do with the game itself, but it had everything to do with the fact that Nintendo wasn't doing anything else with the Metroid IP at the time. If they had announced Metroid Prime 4 at the time, I think people would have been way more kind to the idea of a different type of Metroid game because they knew that this is a step in between towards the game that they want. And same thing with like 3D World. People didn't really like 3D World when it came out because everyone wanted the next Mario 64, the next Galaxy. So when Odyssey came out and they got that, and then they remastered 3D World on Switch, now it is a beloved game because people already got what they wanted. And so this is like a same situation here where it's like everyone loves Capcom. Everyone knows that like, oh, they're gonna keep giving us what we want. So like, here's this Pragmata thing. Like, yeah, it looks cool, but it has like no one knows anything about it really. But everyone is positive about it. Everyone is willing to try it because they know the track record of the studio. They know that the next Resident Evil game is around the corner. The next Monster Hunter game is around the corner. So if Pragmata was the only game Capcom made, like in the last 5 years or whatever, and we have no indication of anything else coming, I don't think people would be as kind towards this game, because everyone wants the next Resident Evil, everyone wants the next Monster Hunter. But now, because we all love Capcom, they keep giving us what we want. Now we're all ready to give them the chance on this new thing.
Yeah, it's similar to the argument that Expedition 33 got last year, where if this game was made by Ubisoft, people would not be glazing it as hard as they are.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Pragmata. If Pragmata was a Ubisoft game, people would just be like, all right, whatever.
Exactly.
As an additional final thought, given we were talking about it with our microphones off before the show, but we're in May almost, and I think we already have in our hands a couple of great games. This is my final question to you: is Pragmata in your go-to list?
No. But I've also only played like 3 new games this year. For me, Requiem is still like firmly at the top. Like it's not being
I would probably put
it.
I could see it being in my top 10 for sure by the end of the year. I did enjoy
I can see it
Requiem
in my top
probably
10.
more.
Okay.
Honestly, I'd be
Ryan?
surprised if it wasn't in my top 5 by the end of the year.
Would be
we'll see.
surprised or wouldn't be surprised?
Would not be surprised if it
Would
was.
not be surprised. Okay, Ryan.
Yeah.
We'll see the way this year shakes out. I've played a good bit of games so far this year, and I don't know if this would necessarily be in my top 5 right now. And there's still a lot coming.
Yeah.
It's top 10 right now, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll stay there.
Yeah.
I wanna clarify. I'd said no, because I mean, when I thought game of the year, I meant like, candidates for the actual one at the top, the game of the year.
Yeah, I don't
And
think
that
it'll
is
be on
like,
the podium.
it's not there.
Yeah,
at all.
I meant go to list, not
in the top 10 list. I can definitely see it being there. Again, last year I literally only played 10 new games, which meant that Kirby Air Riders was on the list, which was the game that I didn't really like that much.
Okay.
So I do think I'm going to play more games this year, but yeah, I do. It's likely it's going to be on the top 10.
Yeah, and we have a big one coming up as well, so we'll probably have this.
We got
our next review is going to be Mouse PI for Hire.
Oh,
Dennis will not be there, right?
Dennis, you're not going to host?
No.
You just going to take the night off?
I don't know. I'm the one with the streaming setup and everything.
True.
We can also choose not to, because I'm not liking that game a lot.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we're not really want to talk about it.
I mean, it sounds like you got to be on the review now to give your bad takes. No, I haven't started it yet, but I plan on starting it tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Are you liking it a lot?
Dude, this game. So, I'll just say it real quick.
Yeah.
What I said about this game, about Pragmata not having sauce and just being mostly subs, it's the complete opposite for
And
Mouse
I'm the
this
complete
game is
opposite
just
on Mouse PI. It's
dripping
all
with sauce,
there's
dude.
no substance to it.
That's so hot. I
Nice.
love when it drips the sauce.
Yeah.
Close us out.
Let's get out of here. Let's get rolling. Thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. That's been our Pragmata review. Curly with an 8.5, Dennis with an 8.5, Enrico with a 9+, and I'm sitting at a 7. Any changes to that real quick before we go?
Nope.
Go after the review? Nope.
No, that feels solid for me.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. We will be back next week for your weekly episode of Famicorp. And until then, we will awkwardly wave goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.
The He looks like a busy secretary.
I kind of am actually.